Welcome to the Disc Golf Pro Tour mobile studios here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, so that we can talk about the fantastic action that happened on day one. Greatness is defined as a lot of small things done well together, and that is exactly what our leader Garrett Gurthie did. He had a fantastic round. His stat page is going to jump off the screen at you. Look at how he was able to accomplish this course record 14 under par, currently rated 1075 unofficially. He was able to do it. The thing that jumps off to me, first of all, is he was 89% Circle 2 in regulation. 89%. 9 out of 10 holes, he was less than 66 feet from the basket putting for birdie. That is how you have a fantastic round. And many of those times, he was a lot closer. But he was consistently getting very close to the basket, staying out of trouble. He was 100% in scrambles when he got into trouble. Even though it didn't happen very often, he was 100% in making his Circle 1 putts. He had 0 OBs and 0 bogeys. If you add all of that together, plus the fact that he throws a smooth 600 feet, that's how you get a course record out here, leading a pack of some incredibly talented golfers. Right behind him are a trio of golfers, each at 12 under par: James Conrad, Eagle McMahon, Ricky Wysocki. Between the three of those guys, they had one bogey, and it was Eagle on the 17th hole, so they almost made it through all of their rounds with 0 bogeys. Eagle and James, 100% inside the circle. Ricky, 90% inside the circle. And one of those was an extremely encumbered putt that I don't feel bad that I don't think it's a bad thing that he missed that putt. Now, right behind those guys, I thought we were in the Wayback Machine for a little while, like it was 2011 on the disc golf scene again. Dave Fehlberg and Will Schusterick were leading the tournament for a good portion of the day, still hanging out right behind. It is fantastic to see both of those guys, storied champions of disc golf, back up there at the top of the leaderboard, challenging for the win on an extremely difficult course. One of the other cool stories coming out of the MPO side is Kyle Webster. He played this course blind, showed up and played his round today. So how was he able to put together such a fantastic round? Well, it took a lot of work. Look at some of the stuff that he had to accomplish. 100% scramble, and he was scrambling a lot. He was 100% for his Circle 1 putts when he got there. He had 4 out of 8 from Circle 2 plus 1 throw-in. So if you just look at his number, you say, oh, well, okay, he showed up and this course is easy. He played it. But if you look at how he got that number, this guy had to work to put together the score that he did. So congratulations, Kyle Webster. Leading into round 2, there are so many good golfers within a few strokes. This is still up to anybody, but I think the lead card right now, that's where we have to look. These guys played fantastic rounds, but all of them see some things that they could have cleaned up even as well as they played. So look for some improvement there. The temperature's going to drop tomorrow, but it looks like we've avoided the bad weather, so it should be great conditions for playing, though a little bit chilly. Now, let's talk about the other amazing story of the day. This comes from the FPO side. When I was getting to the course today, Madison Walker was just getting done with her round, and I heard her talking to somebody, and they said, Madison, you played a great round. And she said, I did. I shot 5 under. The problem is Paige shot 12. Paige Pierce shot, just like Garrett, a course record out here at the disc side of heaven. Unofficially rated 1025. She has a 7-shot lead on the entire field. Let's look at Paige's card. How is she able to put this together? Well, the interesting thing is she bogeyed the first hole, and this is an extremely gettable hole for only her and a couple of other of our competitors, and she bogeyed it. Look for her to improve on that. But then after that point, after that first hole bogey on the next 17 holes, she was 13 under par. That's pretty healthy, don't you think? What I would look for here is this a case of tortoise and the hare? Did Paige just take off in front of everybody and she's going to rest on her laurels? Is she going to be thinking about how this year she's had to really fight and scratch and claw in order to catch back up? So I'm wondering if she's just going to take it easy or if she is going to really focus in these next couple of rounds. Right behind her, a trio of golfers on the lead card that all of them can look at their rounds and think, I left a few strokes out there. Madison, for instance, she was +1 through the first 10 holes. Then she was 6 under par for the final 8 holes. Sarah has a very similar story. She was 3 over through the first 7 and then 7 down in the final 11. Catrina kind of did the opposite. She busted out. She was 5 or 6 under par, bogey free through the 14th hole. And then she bogeyed the easiest hole on the course and then had a double bogey right after that on the par 5. The other FPO story that I think we look at is Kona Panis. She had a fantastic round going and double bogeyed the last hole to fall out of, tied with Madison for second place all the way to the second card. We have a bunch of golfers that did fantastic on this course on day 1. Let's see how they're going to handle it on day 2. I look for the leaders to extend their leads, and if anybody is going to come and catch them, they're going to have to torch this course in the cold temperatures on Saturday. Here we are with your Skip Ace Fantasy Disc Golf update, and for the first time this season after day 1, a perfect lineup has been chosen. Now there were several different ways that you could have gone about to accomplish this, and 2 of those ways were chosen by Brian Poling and Nick Carmen with a 1,350 points after the first round. There are many people right on their heels. Which of the golfers are you wanting to see make a jump on day 2 to get you on the leaderboard? Hey, Chris Dickerson, how's it going?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
All right. So, tell me about what life was like. If I'd run into you 10 years ago, you're just a kid running around. You didn't know about frisbees yet. Where were you up to? What were you doing?
So, growing up, I was with my parents working on a farm. After school, my mom would pick me up where the bus would drop me off, and I would go with them and work on a farm.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here, somewhere in the South. Right, just listening to your voice. Where's your accent from?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay. So like working farm, like you were like roping steer and branding things and like that sort of farm?
Yeah, cattle farm.
Okay. Wow. So like, does that mean that you super love cows, or you're like a vegan now? Like where did that push you?
I am a picky eater, so a lot of people do think that that has something to do with it, but I just don't like the taste of it. But no, I'm not vegan either.
Did you have like a baby cow growing up that like hung out in your room and stuff?
Not in my room, but I had a longhorn growing up. I actually named it after Kansas. His name was Topeka.
Topeka the Longhorn? Where is he still wandering around somewhere, or is he like hamburger?
I don't know. I don't know. We sold him off, and we no longer have it.
Rest in peace, Topeka the Longhorn. So what else were you doing? Like as a kid, how did you spend your time when you weren't hanging out with cows?
I was always involved in sports. Growing up, my mom wouldn't let me play football, so she signed me up for basketball, and I started playing that. But once I got 13 or 14, right around 8th grade, I got into football and really liked playing it.
Okay, so if disc golf, so I mean, you've been kind of around sports, around athletics a lot of your life. If we took that away from you right now, just disc golf didn't exist anymore, how would you spend your time?
Working on cars. I have an automotive degree from Northeast State Technical College.
Okay, so like, what's the car? Every car guy has some car that you love, and it's like named Shelly or something like that. What's your car?
It's a '94 Mustang. It's fuel injected, and well, it was. I took it apart, I put a carburetor on it, and I built it up a little bit from that. So I really like the idea of an old car, something that you could work on, and you didn't really have to have a computer and stuff like that to really do your own thing. So that's what I wanted for my own car.
Is this like the Mustang 5.0? Like,
it is. Yep.
Like 5.0. The Vanilla Ice 5.0 sort?
That's a
drop top down so my hair can blow? Like that one?
No. Those are the Fox bodies. Those went from mid-'80s to '93. '94 was whenever they stretched it out and made it a longer kind of Mustang.
Okay. What's her name?
Molly.
Molly,
the maroon Mustang.
Molly the maroon Mustang. Nice. So you moved from cows to horses.
Yep.
See, it all makes sense. Okay, so if I could tell you that you could win whichever tournament you wanted to this year, or Molly would be perfect when you got back home, which would you prefer?
Oh, I'd win Worlds.
Yeah.
Hands down, I'd sell a car. I wouldn't even ever had it.
Okay, I like that. I like that sort of determination. Chris Dickerson, thank you very much for hanging out with us a few minutes.
Thank you.
At Kids Disc Golf, we believe the future is now. Talented and skilled junior disc golfers are getting ready to join us for the first ever United States Junior Disc Golf Championships hosted at Smuggler's Notch Resort in Jeffersonville, Vermont. Smugs boast world-class amenities and an experience like no other. Join other junior disc golfers and their families August 3rd through 5th and make this a family vacation you'll never forget.
Schustrick with Prodigy Course Cuts. This is hole 2, par 4, 820 feet. Hole 2 is one of the tougher par 4s, coming right off the bat as a second hole on the course. You're going to see most of the players go for the down the middle shot. That's a fairly tight gap. You want to make sure to not get hung up early. Otherwise, it's an almost automatic bogey if you get stuck in one of those trees off the tee pad. Several of the top pros are going to go very wide to the left with a big sweeping Anheuser shot. The goal on hole 2 is going to be landing right to the left of the fairway to hopefully give yourself a better look at a second shot. Going up towards the basket, they're going to be dealing with a low ceiling. They're going to be dealing with about a 400 to 430 foot shot depending on their tee shot. The main goal on this hole 2 is to keep the disc in the fairway. If you can get off the tee about 430 feet, which is fairly easy, especially with it downhill off of the tee pad. The second shot makes it a little bit easier, but it's pretty tough to reach the basket in your second shot if you're not in the perfect spot. So you're going to see a lot of pros try to rip a slight hyzer through the tight gap off of the tee pad, try to get some glide and fade out left, throw almost the exact same shot to get around the tree up towards the basket, and they're going to need a lot of distance on their second shot to get up there to have a putt for 3.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second round coverage of the 2018 Jonesboro Open, presented by Prodiscus.
Good job.
We have a great card lined up for you today, and an even better set of weather. It is cold out there.
Yeah, it's looking like it's, with the wind chill, it's like barely over freezing, like 33 degrees. However,
Not ideal.
not the same as it was this morning.
No, the ladies in the morning round had to deal with pretty extreme conditions. Yesterday, I called for the reappearance of the weather from the Bills Colts game earlier this year. Unfortunately, that kind of came true. It was straight up snowing.
Yeah.
Scores were definitely a little bit lower than we saw day before. Paige Pierce coming out with that 12 down. We're going to see, as we go through this live coverage, how they were able to deal with those inclement weather.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's going to shoot anything close to par.
Well, close to par. I was just going to say probably not what we saw yesterday, but close
Certainly
to par I could see. But transitioning over to the action we're going to see on our live stream for the MPO division. Yesterday we had a great card, had a lot of great players. Unfortunately, only one of them making its way onto this lead card today. That's Ricky Wysocki. He's going to be joined by really some big throwers and some big names. We've got Sean, break it down for us.
Yeah, there's a common theme in the lead card. Everyone throws really far.
Yeah, that helps here.
Garrett Gurthie dropping a ridiculous 14 down.
The course record, by the way, should be noted.
Disc golf prophet James Conrad. And Eagle McMahon, who might have the longest golf shot, on
Out
tour
there.
right now.
Absolutely.
For sure.
He's got some of the best mechanics, some of the best reach back, and just raw power, especially from that athletic build. Usually you see some of these power throwers kind of with a more bulky body type just to
Right.
get that max D. But he definitely he's working with that slender athletic build.
Yeah, long limbs.
Long limbs, pendulum rather than catapult.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting that, you got Eagle and Garrett, who probably throw similarly.
Yeah.
And
Totally different styles, though.
Yes.
Eagle, the kind of the trebuchet compared to Garrett, the catapult, I always like to call it.
Nice. Good job.
But hey, whatever it is, they throw far, and that is how really they've been able to convert a lot of these long holes into birdies. You really need to have that big distance, and especially to give yourself pretty routine upshots. On a lot of these long par fours, this is the longest course on tour thus far.
Yeah, just under 10,000 feet. One of the longest courses anywhere, and certainly the longest we've seen so far this year.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't seem like it's necessarily long putts that are getting people in. It's the par fours where their drive is so far that they can throw a mid or a putter upshot and get 20, 25 feet.
Absolutely. It's really a testament to being able to put yourself so far up the fairway and into those prime time landing zones to give yourself an easy access to the green. It's not that we're dealing with like Idlewild style technicality out here.
Sure.
The distance is really the number one factor that these guys are dealing with. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit windier today than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was pretty much dead still.
It looked like it was perfect conditions yesterday.
Yeah.
Overcast, no wind. And today it calls for 10 to 15 mile an hour gusts. And once the broadcast goes on, you'll see the fly banners. They're whipping around.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to watch this. These four guys, you can't really ask for a better group.
I know. It definitely feels like one of those cards that the fans would have voted on regardless.
Perhaps, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially Garrett, who's back on the scene. First place, up by 2 strokes, over 3 guys that are chomping at the bit to take it over.
This is going to be exciting, and we are live on the tee right now. Who I assume is the tournament director, Brad Peets, calling out the action from the first tee box. Looks like we're going to see Garrett first on the tee. And look at how these guys are dressed, man. They are bundled up.
Are they going sledding?
No, it's tobogganing. There's 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's got lots of layers on.
Yeah, I definitely have to say I prefer the short sleeve, like as little drag on my body as possible when I'm playing.
Sure.
So I can't imagine having to go like long johns and a long sleeve shirt like this. Wow. Garrett is good, dude. That's great.
Yeah, he didn't get the best finish. It kind of neg kicked out to a 20-footer versus being like 10 feet.
Yeah.
But I think he'll take it. It's a great start.
Yeah, and here we have James Conrad, and every time I step up to the tee, I just think WWJD. You know what I mean? What would James do? Absolutely hammers on destroyers, T-birds, Thunderbirds. Really all are in play for him today. My guess is this is this pink Thunderbird that he likes a lot. He was throwing it out at Waco on that final hole, just trying to park it.
I just like how he throws out of his shoes.
Yeah, I know. There's legitimately a frame on every throw where he is both feet in the air.
Yeah, he's not compact.
Not one
Like
bit.
I think about Paul or Drew.
It's just compact.
It's a
raw,
compact
yeah.
throw, and James is how tall is he, Corey?
He's way taller than me. He's I think like 6'4",
so he must
6'5".
be at least 5'5".
Yeah, exactly. He towers over me. No, but he is a tall guy, and he gets every part of his throw in there. Unfortunately, he did turn it over a little bit into that tree, so he might have a tricky upshot. But now we have Eagle on the card, or on the box, excuse me. Definitely has the power to get there. Nice smooth approach. Again, turns it over just like James. Trying to navigate that tree, and he might have something, a little bit of an outside look, but
The flight line looked good. It just looked like he had a late release.
sure.
And it looked like he barely threw it.
Well, now those banners do look like they're bringing a tailwind into play. So my guess is a lot of these guys are just going to be throwing it up and letting the disc glide
Sure.
to the basket.
Yeah, let it just glide 450 uphill.
Yeah, casual. See, that's great action, but is it going to be high enough?
There was definitely some wind pushing that disc down.
Definitely, and he's going to have an outside look, but he should be all right.
Welcome back, disc golf fans. It's Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and a beautiful 27-degree morning in Jonesboro. High winds and snow coming down. Paige Pierce, your leader, 12 under par in the opening round. She has a 7-stroke lead currently over Madison Walker. And over Catrina Allen and Sarah Hokom, she has an 8-stroke lead. There's 6 world titles among them here on the lead card today. Sarah Hokom's forehand approach may prove advantageous. We'll see if a shortened run-up will work in her favor. Catrina Allen slipping right away on the first tee. But she seems to have the best looking drive. Everyone's looking at a birdie putt except for Hokom. Madison grabs medal from 38. Come on, says Paige Pierce. It ain't gonna do it. And everybody pars. We're moving to hole 2.
Wow, really good job by the crew back at Live Central for pulling out the archival footage from the Antarctic Open. That was beautiful and well done, guys.
That was ridiculous.
That was like 6 hours before this.
That was 2 days at the same place.
It's unbelievable. It's crazy how...
and give it up for the women all parring the first hole.
I know.
With a slippery tee pad. And
I think they had a snowplow out on that tee pad just to get it runway.
it's
ready.
ridiculous.
So James did look like he made his way through the tree and does have a little bit of an outside look. He is deadly from this range. Oh, just misses right side. He's got great touch on those step putts, and it's like a demoralizer when he's the farthest out and he crushes one.
Yeah, you can get big putt by James Conrad often.
Yes.
And just like his drives, he kind of falls out of his shoes when he's putting sometimes.
100% commitment.
His
I
jump
love the
putt
guy.
it's firm. It's going 20 miles an hour.
It's very flat, but it is going that fast. But at the same time, it's very glidey. It floats. Eagle lining up what looks to be maybe a 55-footer from pin high. A little bit of a left to right wind. Oh, off the basket. Unfortunate not to come out with the birdie on hole 1, but I definitely wouldn't say this is a must-get when you're looking at the score.
Absolutely not. Yesterday we had 3 out of 4.
That was just spectacular.
Yeah, that's about as good as you're going to get. See if Rick can get it started early today.
Yeah, definitely better drive yesterday, but looking for the big putt on 1.
Oh, wow.
Wow. All right, Ricky's out for blood.
So he's 100% circle 2 already.
Let's keep that stat up. I will accept that gladly.
Wow, that was
so
huge.
much loft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
and
definitely...
there's a lot of wind blowing.
I was going to say, a little bit of a
flag.
tailwind, yeah.
Garrett looks like he's, 20? 20 and change?
Yeah, I mean,
his
definitely
putt, that kind of lazy
putt.
hyzer putt. I wonder how it's gonna react in these kind of conditions.
Yeah, especially with the wind kind of blowing left to right here, it might knock it down. But This man's putted before.
Yeah?
Yeah, solid.
Looked like the wind did nothing but make the disc go dead center.
Yeah, well, hey, that's the good kind of wind, I say. James and Eagle still need to clean up their par threes, but good showing from the lead card here. 2 birdies and 2 pars. Hard to argue with that. Looking to really keep the action going. Like you said, it's under 40 degrees, but with wind chill, it feels 32, 33. It is frigid. Nice cleanup there by James. Definitely one of the best putters on tour, so excited to see some really great action from arguably the hairiest man on tour. There we have it, 2 birdies, 2 pars on the opening hole here at the second round of the Jonesboro Open, presented by Prodiscus.
Wow, the scores are definitely...
And as we catch up to hole 2, lead card, Garrett Gurthie sitting at 15 down. Really looking to put this shot as far forward and left as you can. Basically just like that. That was way farther than I think anyone got on our card yesterday. That should be a pretty routine up and down.
It should. This hole's playing a quarter stroke harder than yesterday.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have to imagine, we saw the FPO division playing in that nastiness. I'm sure it transitioned out. It didn't just all of a sudden get
Sure.
nice. So
it's maybe 20 degrees colder.
Yeah.
And some wind versus none.
Wow, Ricky getting that kick off the tree, but staying what looks to be pretty clean in that fairway. He is going to have that long, my guess, sidearm approach into that left to right pin.
Yeah, he got lucky.
Yeah, let's be honest.
It macked straight forward.
Good use of the word Mac. I like that.
Mid-air collision.
Really?
Am I
Nice.
teaching you?
That is nice.
Am I teaching you about disc golf,
We
Corey?
might have to add that to an invented word.
No, that's a real thing.
James throwing what my... Oh, wow. I was going to say destroyer, but definitely flipped over. Probably a seasoned one. Is going to find himself in that shrubbery to the right of that fairway. Not an easy up and down at all. He might be in kind of pitch outville.
No, he's not going to get a birdie. It looks like with the downhill and a slight headwind, that's flipping the disc over more than they anticipate.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on this one. And remember, this one is 820 feet, so they do have to rip it all the way up that hill after this tee shot. So really there's a premium on getting far up that fairway to the left side of the tee.
Is Eagle going over?
I was just going to say, remember we saw Seppo throw that big Annie shot yesterday. We could be seeing the same. It didn't work, no. Eagle definitely has that next tier of power, though, and he is way up there.
I think it's gone.
Hard to tell if it's going to pan out. Well, it's in some bush. It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have much coming back up to the green from that, unfortunately. Yeah, this pin location being at the back end of that.
Welcome back to hole number 2, 605 feet, par 4. Paige Pierce opting for the standstill tee shot on a 600-foot hole. Playing for control more than the distance, and that's a safe shot right up the middle. Tendinitis keeps Madison Walker throwing the backhand as opposed to her trusty forehand. Very effective. The standstill by Hokom going up the left side gap here on hole 2. Catrina Allen takes the traditional route and slides a little. She seems to be okay. Paige Pierce lacing her drive with the uneven footing and the snow. Hokom's got a look at par and cans the putt. Hokom walks away with the 4, but the lone birdie here is a tap in by Paige Pierce. Back at you guys.
Here we are on the fairway of hole 2. Ricky Wysocki lining up a pretty big shot up to this green. Hard to know if he is actually going to attempt to make it all the way up, as it is quite a ways after that Mac off of a tree off the tee.
Yeah, he's challenging this green.
Yeah, big air shot. It's trying to get it all the way up there. Is going to be left side of the pin, but that is a lot of the work done. He is going to have an outside of maybe circle 2. It looks like. I thought I saw a blue flag right there. This green, again, really can't emphasize how tough of an approach it is. You got to crest that hill and glide low to the ground a good 80, 90 feet past. James really pinched off in this tree, right side of the fairway. I just don't see a world in which he can get it up to the green here.
No, it looks like he's too far advanced in that cluster of trees where the angle of release is going to be too wide for him to get distance.
Exactly, yeah. Now, he does throw incredible turnover shots, but this would have to be pretty extreme, and my guess is he's gonna opt for just a pretty safe pitch out to the center of the fairway. Although we saw Kevin Jones yesterday take a pretty aggressive line on that par 5.
Whoa, forehand cut roller lined up.
Okay, all right, James. I see you.
Just an escape shot.
Yeah, clearly.
But a pretty good one.
Yeah, good line, good action. Oh wow, that thing is eating up ground. That's a great escape.
Shot.
Great shot out of the woods.
The great escape.
I believe we're gonna see eagle kind of from the ether. Oh, see, wow, that did not go as eagle planned. Okay, couldn't tell which bushes he was exactly in, but looks like he just threw a big like boomerang shot.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to flex probably over that cluster of trees and get left and have the absolute maximum distance, and he clearly got caught up.
Yeah, you have to question the choice. I mean, it is a pretty routine shot, especially for these big power guys, to just throw that controlled straight to hyzer shot. Just set yourself up for the money shot on the second shot. Have to call into question the choice here, but if there's anyone that can throw that big shot, it has to be him. So,
and maybe he's thinking, even if he throws a poor version of the shot he's trying, he still gets par.
Exactly.
Like, it looks like he's going to poke a sidearm out.
Well, hard to say what's in front of him from this angle. He might have just pure jail, and it looks like he does, really. Lining up a pretty techie sidearm here. Tough lie. Oh, manages to clear himself from the bushes. Hard to say exactly where. Yeah, he should be center of the fairway and have a pretty unobstructed approach. Back to following these guys up the fairway. It is a long fairway, and we should have to shout out Colton Montgomery, he is putting on a display. He is 5 down through 9, and these scores are not better than yesterday. So the fact that he is 5 through 9 is really great. Feldberg also 3 through 4 should be noted. He's out on a tear.
Yeah, he's moved up to second place, and just as a fun fact, there's only been 3 birdies on this hole.
Really, all day?
Yeah, that's why it's averaging almost a half stroke over par.
Well, it is definitely one of the longest holes out here, especially of the par 4s. So it does make sense on a cold day that these guys aren't going to quite have that distance that they had yesterday. Looks like we have Eagle again throwing his 3rd shot here. And we still have not seen Garrett approach his drive. Should be noted.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it's far.
Wow. So he's farther and a stroke ahead of Eagle right now.
At this point, yes. Eagle throwing that sidearm. Great command of the sidearm. Almost dunks it there. Wow. Definitely one of the more underrated sidearms on tour. Kind of the quote for a few years is that Paul McBeth had the most underrated sidearm on tour.
Yeah, but when you say it that many times, it
loses its underrated.
Yes.
Yes. But I definitely think that Eagle has at least one of the most powerful sidearms on
Yeah,
tour.
he's got 450 in the back.
Easily.
That was a great upshot he made. It's unfortunate that he had that 15-foot rollaway that went from pretty automatic to a challenging putt.
Yeah, especially in this wind. Garrett approaching with some sort of mid-range, my guess. I mean, he's so close. Oh, is going to leave himself just outside circle's edge there.
Yeah, it looked like he rolled it a little more than he wanted and didn't give the disc enough air to come back.
Yep.
Because I think he's sitting just on the edge of the circle.
Well, and it is significantly uphill. The one thing video does is it does compress distance, and it compresses elevation. So it's hard to tell from the footage itself where exactly we are, or how far exactly up we're throwing. James Conrad here with his third shot, at least in a slightly better position than Eagle was to approach this with, my guess is this JK AVR that he loves so much.
So, Corey, you follow the tour a lot. Does James throwing the same putter that he putts with?
He does not. Oh, same mold, yes, but not the same putter. He's got the greenies that he putts with, and the purple one is generally the one that he's going to be throwing. Now, that could be his JK AVR or his MD4. It's hard to tell. If it was C-Line, it was the MD4. If it was that JK Plastic, it was the putter, but it definitely flew the same regardless, and he should be up and down for his 4.
He should. He kind of had a similar shot that Garrett did, where it looked like he rolled it a little bit too much, and maybe there's a headwind coming in. It looks like the flag is going away from us from the camera angle, and perhaps that's why those guys aren't getting inside 15.
Sure.
And they're left with a little bit of a challenging putt to convert.
Yeah, definitely more than they wanted, especially Garrett, who was in that prime time landing zone. As we look at our scores of other guys coming in, Chris Dickerson is 3 down through 6 holes, and he is putting himself in position to be competitive here. AJ Risley also, wow, 5 down through 7. He is cooking. Ricky just really approaching the basket. My guess is with that harp. No reason to give it too much trouble. We're pretty early on in the round, and he did just can a big one for birdie on 1. As all these other competitors kind of approach their lies, see what they're working with. Gosh, it is beanies on weather out there. How about this gallery, though? It is like frigid temperatures, and we got people walking.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm impressed with the commitment. If I was in Arkansas in the Jonesboro area, I would probably be watching it on my couch.
Fairly. I would come out Sunday. Garrett approaching, or trying for his birdie 3 here. Oh, just left side. It looks like. God, it's such like a kind of apathetic putt. You know what I mean? But it works.
It's slow and loopy.
Yeah.
But clearly it's been working for him. He's gonna want that upshot back. His drive was in the perfect spot, and he just did not execute.
Eagle to clean up the par 4 here. About 28 feet. Off the band, and that is not what he wants. That bogey early in the round, especially after yesterday he played so hot.
Absolutely. And there was clearly a headwind coming, and it looked like he had the nose up just a little bit, and the putt rose a good 6 inches before it got to the basket.
Yeah, that band is thick out there in Jonesboro.
And it's tough when you're putting into a headwind to actually aim at the cage.
This is true. Yeah, and let the
disc
wind
rise
do it.
into it.
James seasoned a putter in the wind, but that is a still flag. Beautiful.
That was a great par.
That was, and that he's
backhand, forehand cut roller,
backhand
putt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, using it all, huh?
The fact that he got the same score as Garrett on that hole is outstanding.
Absolutely. Yeah, great recovery. And that's just the type of play we see out of James. Really crafty guy out there. He isn't going to throw a lot of sidearms. Isn't going to throw a lot of the more creative lines. But when in a pinch, he has it all. As these guys clean up, and then shortly we will be able to take a look at some of our sponsors here.
Tempercraft, USA. Double walled 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft, USA. Temper your thirst.
And here we are back. Yeah, we have unfortunately missed Gurthie throwing. There is absolutely no backups on the course right now because, as they have done lately with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, they're giving a little bit of a buffer to this lead card to allow for a little bit better flow on the live broadcast, as well as for these players out here. Ricky really lacing one up the middle on this par 3, 435-foot hole 3. That is a beautiful shot, and that's right where you want to be, inside the circle and ready to score here. Kind of reminiscent of hole 1, Sean. Hole 3 is just maybe the stakes lowered a little bit.
Sure. The distance is commensurate. 15 feet off. This one looks like it's not quite as uphill.
Yeah, similar feel, but yeah, just kind of like the little brother of hole 1 I called it yesterday.
I think we're going to see a common theme today in that hole 3 is playing over par by a fraction, whereas yesterday it was nearly a quarter stroke under par.
Really? And James turning that way over.
And that's the reason why.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to see a little bit more
wind today.
Yep. A little bit more wind and a little bit chilly. Hard to really get yourself warm and in that consistent flow in conditions like this. Eagle pulling out what I assume is his first run C-Line PD. He loves that thing oh so much. Good release, nice angle. Oh yeah, a little bit stable. Those early runs of PDs are absolute meat hooks, and that's why he loves it so much. He can really slam on it in that 400 to 500 foot range distance. And then let's see what our ladies can do on this card.
Paige Pierce extended her lead on the previous hole. She has 8 over second and 9 over third. Hole 3 is 310 straight up the middle. The winds are blowing right to left. Paige gets the skip. She's pin high. She'll be looking at a birdie. Another twirl by Madison. She chuckles and asks it, did it even go 200 feet? Well, it's less than 30 degrees, so somehow that factors in. Hokom short, right. Catrina's footing off again. I think we're going to see plenty of that today. And Hokom's jumper for birdie just outside the circle, no good. Paige from a knee, no good. Everybody pars. We move on to hole 4.
As our lead card approaches the pin on hole 3, we can see James Conrad is most likely going to be out here. About circle 2's edge, probably outside circle 2, which is pretty far off for what you're looking for. Off the tee is pretty routine. It's straight in front of you. We can see James sitting in a tie for 7th at 12 down. But remember, a lot of those competitors he is competing with have gotten a few holes ahead of him. So tough to take that as a 1-to-1 comparison. Oh, just low of the basket, but a solid bid again. He needs to get a little bit of command down off the tee is my guess. All 3 of his throws have been just a bit turned over compared to what I'm used to him seeing him throw.
Yeah, he's just not giving himself opportunities for birdie.
Mm-hmm.
The last hole was a great par, but, you're losing strokes and not losing strokes in the field, but you're not gaining any.
No, and you gotta eventually have some good birdies, not some good pars.
I mean, I know it's early in the race, but he's already dropped down 5 spots. Garrett and Ricky are the only two in the quote-unquote new lead guard with Feldberg and AJ.
AJ is really putting it down today.
Yeah, he came out swinging, 5 through 7.
Who is that? Colton Montgomery again, though. 5 down through what appears to be 9 now?
Through 10.
Through 10, excuse me.
Yeah, he calmed down a little bit, but he's still right now. He's tied for second.
Yeah, as we are seeing someone putt on something else. That's why we are waiting. Looks, missing that putt, unfortunately. Eagle now ready to give his bid. Really trying to avoid that distraction. He knows how important each putt is out here. A little bit of a headwind, it looks like.
Beautiful.
Absolutely dead center. That
Wow.
was money. His release is so clean.
It's
it just
so
pops
smooth.
out of his hand.
Yeah, he's got so much spin. That win in. Beautiful.
Absolutely dead center.
In.
Yeah, yes. Puts it in am side, but you'll take a birdie on the scorecard, that's for
Absolutely. And pulling within 1 stroke of the leader.
That's good, as Garrett is still maintaining that lead at a total of 15 down. Ricky moving to 14 down. Feldberg holding tight 13. It is that logjam at 13 right now.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see how the women are going to do on the next hole.
All right, and from Ricky's commercial, we are on to Ricky on the tee. He is looking to attack this par 4. I believe it is 630 feet. And the first order of business is to get it under that tunnel. You could play the wide hyzer route, but really you're looking for these guys to attack this tunnel. We saw Nate Sexton throw the roller through that low ceiling, really try and take that out of play. But this is definitely a birdieable hole for these guys. And something that they really need to score on, especially Eagle and James, who are off to not the hottest starts. And this shot really does suit Eagle's game. I feel like he throws those controlled flat shots really well. And definitely has the distance to make up for it if he were to catch those trees. So sitting in at 630 feet, again, one of those holes that isn't going to overwhelm you with the distance. But if you don't have that elite level power, it does add up.
You're going to struggle.
Yes.
And I know I sound like a broken record. This hole's playing half a stroke harder than yesterday.
Really?
Half.
Wow, that's just...
Yesterday it was like a 3-5, and today it's over 4.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's honestly shocking because...
4 and change. Basically, is playing par.
But it does play over par, technically.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, there's more cumulative bogey strokes than there are under.
Okay, and James really looking to buck that trend and really get his round kick-started here. Great at throwing tunnel shots out of the woods of Virginia, hometown of Blacksburg. Testing that ceiling is going to have to get lucky.
Oh, that looks
Does.
Yeah, that's tasty.
That's perfect. Right in the landing zone, right where you want to be. You can see that 250 to the pin marker right there. He is well inside of that.
Hole number 4, 630 feet, par 4. This is a 2-shot hole, even for the likes of Paige Pierce. And she laces one right up the middle. Both position and distance here on 4 for Paige Pierce. Finding the tree right side, Madison Walker ready to throw her second shot. Gets the kick out into the fairway. This shot, however, finds the OB on the right side as Pierce takes the high, wide hyzer. Madison throwing what would be her 4th shot after the OB. Pierce, however, easy layup right next to the pin. Madison's got a look at the 5. She's deep. Catrina Allen for par, though, makes a solid putt with that blasting headwind. And coming back is Madison. She takes the double bogey. She gives 2 up. And she moves to 3 under par.
Here we are catching back up with Ricky as he throws his upshot into actually a pretty routine upshot. He got into a pretty nice position.
Well done.
Well done. Throws that harp right up to the basket. I believe it's that BT medium harp that he loves so much.
He seems like when he plays golf, every shot he goes, harp?
And then goes from there.
And then plays off it.
Yes, exactly. Eagle upping with probably a C-line MD or one of those P2s that he loves oh so much.
It seemed like no one struggled off the tee here, and they're all looking to convert birdie.
And there's not really any reason to. I know that there is that low ceiling off the tee, but it's pretty fair, and it's pretty open. So players of this caliber, really no reason not to be in the landing zone here.
Yeah, it's not like an East Coast gap.
No, God, no. Wow. That was way offline.
Yeah,
and we can see Eagle pretty frustrated with this throw. That was pretty out of character, I'll be honest with you. I was definitely expecting that to be parked.
Yeah, you know, this the 3rd or 4th shot so far today that I expected, you know, the disc to be inside 20 feet, and they're leaving it outside the circle.
Yeah, really opening up opportunities for these guys on the lower cards to catch up, kind of not unlike round 2 of the Masters, if you guys have been following along with that, as well as our Jonesboro coverage. Round 2, we saw a lot of guys kind of floundering. Now we see a little bit different action in the Masters today. We can update you as we go, but right now we are looking at James Conrad trying to approach and trying to gain a stroke on Eagle. If he can put it next to the basket, I think there's a good chance he might accomplish that. Throwing that flat top gator, so stable. You can see that action on the disc. Gosh, he's going to use all that meter he can to put himself inside the circle, definitely.
Putter yeah, that's a good putt for it. Yeah, he should make that putt, especially getting 3 feet off the wall.
Yeah, that's nice. Should be noted that all of the OB that is barbed wire on this course, mandated meter and a half off. Now that isn't barbed wire, so that'll only be the meter, but that is something to note for these future holes.
I did not know that. That seems, I mean, that seems proper.
It seems like it should just be a
player
PGA
safety
rule.
issue.
Exactly.
I mean, I have to say sometimes the meter doesn't seem big enough.
Especially like for if you have to like throw a real shot.
Right.
Yeah. Garrett, you can see really getting the payoff for that beautiful drive on that hyzer line. He is just going to clearly, I was going to say clearly lay up, but that got away from him. He almost threw that OB.
Oh, he did. He got kind of lucky.
Okay,
Thanks to Keen.
Yes, big shout out to Keen for keeping that one in bounds.
Yeah.
But we are seeing extremely out of character shots from some of these guys.
These upshots it seems like off the tee, they're not too bad. It's some of these upshots on the par 4s, I'm flat out, I have to say, not impressed.
No, not impressed. Obviously these guys are highly skilled competitors. They've made their way onto the lead card. But with shots like that, Colton Montgomery, Dave Feldberg, AJ Risley, Chris Dickerson, they're knocking at the door ready to take that spot for the final round tomorrow. Eagle lining up just inside circle 2, it looks like to me, judging by that blue flag. Really wants to put this one in. This would be a statement.
Back-to-back big putts.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of final round that you mentioned, which is tomorrow.
Yes, sir. That was big time.
That was almost outside circle 2.
That's one of those putts that get you fired up for the rest of the round. So I'm looking for Eagle to put on some fireworks here from now on.
Wow. You know what they say, though? You only need one good shot to get par or birdie.
This is true.
And
this is true.
There it was. Going back, I was saying about final round. I don't know if you guys know, Paige Pierce signed up for this tournament only because she thought it was a 4-day tournament, realized it was 3, and drove 6 hours from Kansas City after flying back from Nantucket and made it at 11:30 on Thursday night.
There you have it. That's another reason to keep these tournaments at 3 rounds, not only for the scoring separation, make it a little more exciting.
Yeah, getting there late and then dropping a 10-25 rated 12 down.
Casual, and dropping her coffee all over herself on round 1.
Yes.
Should be noted. James looking to really make up for that kind of squirrely upshot where that gator got away from him. Into what looks like a dead headwind, but I think that does play nicely with his putt. He does have that spinny putt, so should be able to ride the wind straight to the basket.
Wow.
Yes. Wow, and he was outside circle 1, judging by that step putt. That was pure.
Unless it was the worst foot fault we've ever seen.
Nobody's going to call him on that. Come on.
Back-to-back putts. How does Garrett make this now?
Yeah, well, now this is mandated. This is the shortest putt
basically a 60-footer, a 35-footer.
And now pretty close to the same, probably just inside, judging by the fact that James went first. And he has good action on his putts so far, though. It's just that haven't been dropping. That one just splashing out chain side last hole. Oh, low again. Not finding that release that he had during round 1.
It seems like, at this point, it seems like a confidence issue.
Yeah.
He just didn't give that putt a chance to go in.
Never a chance out of the hand.
Oh, Ricky.
Straight down, reminiscent of Kevin Jones kind of clanking the one off the basket
Yeah,
in yesterday's
and look what
coverage.
just happened on that hole. The 2 people that were out converted birdie, and the 2 that I would have called in did not, especially Ricky.
Yeah, and that just shows you how much of a premium putting is. You know what I mean? Like, that's the separator between these guys and the guys that are going to be chasing them out. 2 birdies, 2 pars, as we move on to hole number 5 after this. Eagle now taking the tee pad after those unfortunate missed putts on hole 4. Looking at the par 3, 495 foot. Really seems to play like an obvious layup, Sean. We saw only 2 deuces yesterday.
Yeah, very few. And the birdies that were got were not by the top tier pros. It seems like it's maybe someone that's in the 960s, 990 range that just has huge power.
Sure.
And doesn't play the odds.
Sure. And that's not what you're going to see from a lot of these guys that are competing at the absolute highest level. It's really an odds game.
Right. Even last year, I remember watching post coverage. It seemed like Germ was the only one that attacked this.
Well, and it looks to me like James is lining up something big. Hard to tell what he has in his hands, but if it is a driver, I have to imagine he's going for it. It is only 495 feet, so this is within his range. We'll see if he can spike it down.
And downhill.
Okay, just playing the layup. But to be fair, kind of an aggressive one. That was way up in the air.
Yeah, and this hole playing 3.68.
3.68. That's actually pretty shocking. I wouldn't expect it to be that high because the 4 opportunity really isn't there if you're playing this layup shot. Have to imagine maybe there's a few people trying to go for it, trying to make up ground on this second day.
I don't
moving
know.
day before
or
final round.
maybe the wind is making. I mean, up shots obviously are the theme today, right?
This
That
is
people
true.
are not easily convert inside 250. And again, this hole playing almost half a stroke harder than yesterday.
Wow, this is going to be across the board, I feel. So I do expect these final scores to be significantly lower. Garrett
does not
really,
look like a layup.
That does not look like a layup. He is going for it. And now there is that bailout zone left of the pin. It looks like did he just drop OB? Hard to see from this angle, but his reaction does indicate to us that is out of bounds. Ugh, unfortunate.
350 feet for hole number 5. Paige Pierce waited for a few moments for the wind to calm down. It doesn't. And she's going for the green, but comes up short. That's OB for Paige Pierce. Her first mistake of the round.
Oh my gosh, don't do it.
And Hokom asking, please don't finish left. That is no good. She finds herself in the trees on the left side. Pierce approaches just past the basket. Sarah's going to opt. Oh, and she goes for it, but doesn't clear the OB. She's putting back at it. Meanwhile, Paige Pierce converts on the penalty bogey putt. Hokom's got a short one for bogey, but doesn't convert. She takes a double and dips to 4th place.
So we have seen some, I'll admit it, less than stellar play from our lead card. Have seen some big putts, though.
Yeah, a handful of really big putts, but the guys behind these guys are all over them. Colton Montgomery just converted another birdie. He's 7 down through 12, and he's tied for the lead.
Wow, he is putting up really a great fight. And as somebody who maybe isn't a household name at this point, he was the tour director or the tour manager for Discmania last year.
Yeah, and I think he's just clocking it under 1,000 rated.
Wow, so he's playing well above his rating at this point.
Yeah, if he can finish, I mean, this would be not an unknown name, but sort of a new name to be on the lead card.
Absolutely. I know I met him last year at USDGC. Great guy and really even better golfer. He's genuinely a quality golfer. Throws hard. He's out of Colorado. So Brian Geis, I work with a lot over at Central Coast Disc Golf. He is good friends with him. We see Dave Feldberg really putting up an effort too. 5 down through 7. Or 4 down through 7.
4 through 7.
AJ Risley still on that pace to put himself in contention with a lot of these guys. So we're seeing the slower play on this hole really give these guys an opportunity to make something here.
Yeah, so it looks like Garrett did clip a tree with that aggressive tee shot, and he's forced to go to the drop zone, so he's looking at bogey at best. Unless, of course,
the miraculous throw-in, which is a possibility, but probably pretty unlikely. Ooh, did flash the basket there. Wow, got me all hot and bothered.
Yeah, so Garrett looks like he's going to be even after 5 holes.
Ugh, not what he was looking for.
No.
I mean, he came out and with authority put down that course record yesterday, so he was trying to go and double it up again. Eagle here with a pretty routine upshot. Not really trying to do much more is my guess. Maybe a hope and a prayer that it goes in.
Yeah, I mean, the green is sloped upward, so running the basket is not that much of a risk if you're comfortable putting, inside 25 feet, which all of these guys are.
Sure.
But, I mean, with Eagle's power, he's laying up on this hole, which says something about it.
Exactly. I mean, you really have to be trying to take strokes off people. You really have to be making a statement to try and throw that big hyzer onto the screen. Or the flex shot like Garrett did.
Sure. But there are 2 guardian trees that can slap that down and go out of bounds and, guarantee bogey. God, he's got a long jump putt.
I was just going to say.
Or a step putt.
Yeah, it's like it's very fluid. There's no jumping involved.
No, he's pinned.
That was great. Great shot, kind of with a weird angle, trying to avoid that tree. As we see our leaderboards right here, Colton Montgomery, really the name that sticks out to you. He is absolutely tearing it up. Unfortunately, Dave Feldberg did find that bogey on hole 8, so he has dropped to 3 down and kind of losing pace on that round that he was trying to put up there.
Absolutely.
AJ Risley sitting through 5 through 9. Johnny McRae, a name that I would love to see at top the leaderboards, is always an entertaining player to watch.
Yeah, it's amazing that he is a Masters player, competes at the highest level, oftentimes opting to play Open most of the time.
Absolutely.
Except for, majors that are age protected.
Mm-hmm. He will be at the Tim Selinsky's U.S. Masters, which is the weekend after the Glassblown Open, which he'll be playing in Open. So,
I think someone else is going to be there too, right?
Yeah, that would be me.
Nice.
I will be at both the Glassblown Open and the Tim Selinsky U.S. Masters in Crown Point, Indiana. But back to Jonesboro, Arkansas, as these guys are all going to pretty routinely tap in their birdies, and then Garrett with their pars, and then Garrett with the unfortunate bogey.
It feels like birdie.
It does. I would say it feels like par. It feels just like, all right, get out of here. You've done your job. Move on. I wouldn't be stoked on a 3.
There was no birdies today.
There is 0?
0 birdies.
Wow. No one birdieing this on the entire field. These guys playing at 3 pars and 1 bogey. We'll join you on hole 7 next. Here we are on the 315-foot island hole 6. Really, we've got our fingers crossed in the booth that we can see an ace, because that's really what this hole is all about. Basket staring you right in the face with that backstop. But again, in theme with the day, this hole playing significantly harder than it did yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday it played under par significantly, and today it's over par.
What's new? These guys obviously facing tougher conditions today, and those analytics, my guess, are factoring in the FPO division from this morning.
No. This is strictly MPO round 2.
Strictly MPO round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. So definitely the better conditions, not factoring in those blizzard-like conditions in the morning. Eagle playing the sidearm, which I do think the hole favors, and he is going to barely stick onto there. We see the gallery approving.
Yeah, that was a pretty good shot. He left it a little long. He looks to be 20 and change.
Yep, but that's fine. Angle back to the basket. Now, if he was by the circle's edge,
sure,
that angle might be a little scarier.
He's throwing his putter here, huh?
This is definitely the JK.
And it seems like he's
AVR.
Warmed up a little.
Yeah,
since he's lost at least a layer.
We've reached the delayering spot where these guys have probably walked around a little bit, warmed the blood up. Still dealing with that wind though, as
I'm psyched to see
his hair
how the women are dressed on this hole.
Yeah.
After seeing James in a t-shirt.
Yeah, just the Arctic clothing they have on. Really playing that turnover shot. He throws those great committed turnovers.
Oh yeah,
that'll play.
That's pin.
Yeah, that's great.
Drop in.
It's really what you're looking for. No reason to fiddle with putting it up in the air and trying to put it in the basket. Just too much chaos with the wind. Ricky lining up the Felon, very overstable fairway driver, looking to spike it on the basket. Yeah, he's all right.
Also well done, pin high.
Obviously a little bit right of where he would have liked to be, but you'll take it. You'll take inside the circle any day.
Garrett's got to get something going.
I was just going to say, looking to get back on track.
Even
he's
through
struggling.
5.
He's struggling.
He's probably like 4 strokes behind yesterday's pace.
Nice, easy, breezy, casual turnover. It needs to chill out, though. Oh! No, are you serious?
The one gap in the fence found its way through, and he's
How
OB.
do you do that?
And he has to go to the drop zone.
Why is there a gap there, Sean?
I assume it's for the pedestrians or the players to walk through.
Ah, that is brutal
That
to
is
watch.
very unfortunate.
We're gonna have to see Gurthie throw from the drop zone. Wow, that is just tragic. That's really tragic on all fronts. We're gonna see Garrett throw from this drop zone first before we head over to the FPO coverage. But I think he was flabbergasted by that. I just don't see a world in which that's a good idea. Pedestrians, you're telling me right now pedestrians should be able to walk on the green?
No, not pedestrians. It's the path.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems that's they decided as a safety issue perhaps.
Fire marshal needed it.
I can't say.
So I'm gonna cool down, and I'm not gonna say how I feel about that. But we're gonna see Garrett throw from the drop zone, and definitely he was not expecting to be doing
this is likely a two-stroke swing for him, where he already didn't start well. I'm very interested to see how he can recover for something like this.
So important, and he hasn't been
He's
on tour
over
for a
now.
while, but there we have it. He is in position for that bogey. Now we'll check out this FPO coverage.
Hole number 6, just 315 feet. You've got to clear the water. And Catrina Allen is wide right, not inbounds. You go to the drop zone. Madison Walker coming in short, better angle, but not enough power. Going to the drop zone. OB for Walker. Paige Pierce, same shot as Walker, but higher, but not enough. Also going to the drop zone. Sarah Hokom with the forehand, going to play it differently to the wide side.
Ricky about to tap in after we almost saw someone ace in that coverage. Good putt, cleaning up the deuce.
That's a tap in for Ricky Wysocki, but certainly not for
yours
truly.
Quote, average golfer.
Oh man, that's 20, 25 feet.
With the hill behind it, not to mention. Eagle looks to clean up and really start separating themselves from Garrett.
Such a casual putt, that's so good.
I know, it's almost so casual that it gets into my head and I try and replicate it, which is not what I need to be doing.
Right. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, that's just brutal. He's going to have to walk over there and just pick up that disc and see that it's 6 inches out of bounds.
Those are my favorite kind of putts right there.
The non-putts. So 3 birds and the unfortunate bogey. We'll catch up on hole 7 shortly.
Let's forget about the car for a moment. Your local next-gen qualifiers are all fun entry-level PDGA-sanctioned C-tiers. There are 3 ratings-based divisions, creating a competitive environment for beginners all the way up to amateurs aspiring to become professionals. Don't forget to sign up for the Next Gen Virtual Challenge. You get to play locally and see how you rank nationally. Don't miss out.
Back in the box, we are here at hole 7, par 4, 615 feet. This is a pretty solid par 4. Kind of has that right to left, then left to right shape. Where you're going to throw that big backhand, try and find the landing zone. Give yourself an approach to that guarded green. It has those trees just short of it. So that maybe a tight turnover, maybe if we're James Conrad, or a flick if we're Eagle, or somebody, maybe a Nate Sexton. Either play, and we're going to see if these guys can capitalize on a pretty scoreable par 4 here.
Yeah, and actually the first hole we played so far, that is averaging under par.
So it is possible.
It is possible, yeah.
Okay. Eagle there, ending up a little bit left side of the fairway, but as we said, very scoreable hole, and should at least have a fair approach to the basket from there. James Conrad lining up. I'll say one of the most unique players to film because everybody throws from one spot and he's like 10 feet farther back from everyone else. It's crazy.
He likes the big run-up, it appears.
He's a big guy, likes the big run-up. It's really all about the flashy and really the brand establishing with James. He's really concerned with that. Big, huge shot from James, really trying to bite off as much distance as he can. And that looks solid. That's really right where you want to be. He might be a little bit pinched on that tree to the left, but he's got really all the shots, so he should be able to manage. Ricky, see what he can do on the 615-foot par 4. Plays that straight and more flat line, is going to be rewarded with a pretty similar lie as these guys. Maybe a little bit ahead of that tree to make him, maybe free him up for that approach. Garrett, it looks like, has lost a layer, if my eyes don't deceive me. I thought he had a hood on earlier. But we're going to see if he can turn it around. Still sporting that Bobby Music kind of underarm throw. Oh, does make connection with that tree. He just can't get it dialed right now, Sean.
Yeah, he's not playing well and getting unlucky.
That's two ways to not do great things, but we're going to check out this FPL coverage shortly.
Coming up through 6 holes, we're moving to 7, a par 4, 600 plus feet, uphill, blind shot off the tee. Hokom's forehand seems to be on point. Catrina's in there, bundled up somewhere. She's not slipping like we saw in the first few shots. Catrina's second shot is low. Hello, Alyssa Van Lannen out there hustling around getting photos. Thank you, Alyssa, on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Catrina's forehand is low. Paige has a look at a birdie and is short. Catrina from the same distance for par next to the pin. Catrina's going to give one to the rest of the group by taking the bogey.
As we see, James Conrad is going to be out, it looks like, and it looks to me like he is going to have an angle left of that tree, whereas I think our other competitors might be going right. You can see him taking on and off that jacket. It's still obviously cold out here, but
sure,
he wants to be free enough to throw.
Absolutely. You see that a lot.
Yeah, kind of like a pitcher in between innings, throwing on the jacket.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely it is decision time for him.
You don't see this very often.
You don't, and I think that those branches leaking, making that ceiling a little bit lower than he'd like, kind of prevents that big turnover shot from James here. Got to be curious if he is spending the week in a hammock, as he did do that for Waco, spent the entire week in a hammock.
I hope it's a hammock inside a living room.
It was not.
No, this tournament, it's cold.
It is very cold out there. Great side by James. Really taking advantage of the lack of leaves on these trees, the lack of growth, really.
You know, it's weird. Last year's tournament was only, I think, 2 weeks later.
Okay.
And it seems like there was significantly more foliage.
Well, and there definitely was not freak snowstorms last year. So that's probably something.
Well, if you look at the extended forecast for Jonesboro, it's going to be like in the upper 70s a week from today.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wonderful job, planning committee. No, just kidding. No way to predict this sort of stuff, and really kudos to the tournament staff as a whole for really kind of like playing it on the fly. It's hard to say what you're gonna do when a freak snowstorm hits your course, but it seems like they've handled it good, and I haven't really seen many complaints.
They must have had. I think they had snow blowers.
Okay, sure.
In between rounds, because I don't see any white on the ground whatsoever.
That's a lot of real estate to snowblow.
They have a big crew down there though.
Okay, great volunteer presence out in Jonesboro. We see Garrett really trying to line something up. He's got that tricky lie, though, behind that tree. Kind of what forced James into throwing that sidearm, but he definitely has less room to work with. Taking that patent pending behind the back throw. Needs it to skip up there. All right, he's at circle's edge. He's okay. He has a putt at least. Next up, we should have Eagle. We do, and you can see how much, better it is to get around that tree. It frees it up
Absolutely.
so clearly.
This
to get
looks
to the
pretty
pin.
routine for a guy that's got a great sidearm. The only mistake you can't make, the only mistake you can't make is what Kevin did yesterday, is by pinching it off.
Yep.
And catching that tree, and you don't really have a birdie conversion opportunity then.
Yeah, definitely looking to play it out wide and spike it down into it, or maybe some sort of skip shot. Hard to tell if the grass is in a skipping size, but he is going to play it out wide. Great shot, perfect, done. That's how you draw it up.
Yep.
Throw the big hyzer out there, throw the soft sidearm in.
By the way, after that extraordinarily unfortunate bogey, Garrett has dropped down 4 spots.
Sitting in 5th place, obviously tied for 5th place, but yeah, can't seem to get it going. And if he doesn't get it going quick, he might drop off the lead card for this final round as Ricky puts himself right next to the basket. We are going to take one short break, and then we'll get you these putts shortly.
Are you currently looking for the one? How do you get hooked up usually?
Through friends,
Players' parties.
sometimes even fans.
And how's that been working for you?
Not so good.
Have you ever tried looking online?
Never.
You should check this site out.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Find your go-to disc at blankinkdiscs.com today. 2018 Tour Support discs available now.
Gotta get one.
I need one.
Catching back up with Garrett's putt here. He does have a little bit of work to get back into Birdieville. He is going to walk it off just to confirm how long it is. Get a wind read maybe. His putt has not been dialed today though.
Not at all. I mean, maybe it's because it's more susceptible to win.
Yeah.
Because he putts with a lot of hyzer. And he's got a right to left wind here. Or left to right.
Oh
And
gosh.
just
Again, drawing no metal.
No metal.
That's an air ball.
Yeah.
He is not satisfied. Double G really someone we had our eyes on as to kind of capture America's heart back on tour. But he is not doing it now.
There's a lot of golf left though.
Absolutely.
A lot of long golf left.
Absolutely.
But it's tough to just mid-round all of a sudden start putting better.
You are absolutely right.
He almost needs like a routine 18-footer.
Just to get the juices
see
flowing.
the disc go in the basket.
Yes. James with that firm
Yeah.
spin putt.
Like that kind of putt.
Yeah, exactly. The confidence builder. These guys are going to tap in their birdie threes and gain another stroke on Garrett. He's dropping back further, and that is a good chance. He's going to be tied for 6th now after that. 3 birdies, 1 par. Gosh, we're going to need to see some action here on hole 8 if Garrett really is going to keep that charge going. Here we are on hole 8, the 324-foot shot. This is really a beautiful hole. The natural OB does come into play if you're going to leave it short right, so you're looking to really err on the side of long on this left to right hole.
Yeah, that's the only mistake you can make is to not wrap around that cluster of bushes and trees.
Yeah, really favors the sidearm, obviously, but we saw Simon last year playing that D-line FD roller. We saw Johnny throwing putters on a turnover line, so it is pretty fair as far as supporting all play styles. Oh, Eagle has... Oh, he sawed it off, but did get that friendly drop.
Yeah, he punched through and he has a putt now, and a
Yeah.
safe putt because he's putting uphill at it.
This is true. Remember, we do have that Disc Golf Pro Tour raised basket on this hole, so that is going to add that little bit extra of pucker factor when these guys are throwing their putts. James.
What do you think James is throwing here, Corey?
I believe this is his MD4.
Okay.
He loves. This sounds weird, but he loves it for these nice controlled turnover shots. It is a stable disc.
Yeah.
But he's thrown it a lot. He's seasoned it, and he just knows the angles so well. You can see how committed he is to that turnover. Hard to say if it's going to get that sharp angle into the green, though. You can see I think he did just cut it a little bit too short. Stable discs generally don't have that late turn on them to get them to bite hard at the end.
Sure.
You're going to have to throw them really up high and have it pan out, which isn't necessarily the shape of this shot.
Ricky looks dialed right here on this. Yep.
Solid. Again, playing it pretty close to that,
and it's
that
pretty,
corner. But
pretty routine for him.
Yeah.
He's got he's top 5 sidearm in the game.
Absolutely. It seems like in years past he has, maybe gone away from that a touch, but wow, it's like riding a bicycle. You know what I mean? Garrett going sidearm. Have not seen one of those from him yet, but looks solid, and he is going to be right next to the pin. We will check out how the FPO played the hole before seeing these putts.
Paige Pierce still sits with a 9-stroke lead. She's just +1 for the round. Hole 8 is a very birdieable hole. Pierce throws it short, doesn't make the corner. A fierce headwind. She throws out to just outside the circle. She contemplates with Nate Perkins to run it or to lay it up. She runs it, but not fully committed, she says. Her putt for 4 is off the chain. And I don't mean that in a good way. This is Paige to save double bogey, and she knows it's short. She just wants to be done. Hole 8, a triple bogey, losing 3 strokes to all of her card mates. She's got a comfortable lead, up by 6 still.
Here we are having a look at... It appears that James may be out, as he did cut that corner a little tight and is in that natural OB that is very difficult to putt out of. Some of the leaves obviously not there compared to years past, but we will see what he is dealing with as soon as they find it. Eagle losing his beanie on a tree there. Oh gosh.
Oh, he's in jail.
It's a nightmare. That's a nightmare zone. Yeah, he's in the heart of darkness right there. My guess is that's just pure layup zone. If he runs this, I mean
he can't run
nothing. It's nothing in there.
No.
He might have like a pitch outside. Yeah, it's nothing.
The only time you can run this is if your partner parks it and you're playing dubs.
Yeah, is that just rip a sidearm right?
Yeah, like a forehand PD2.
Yeah.
You know, his sidearm on, what was it, hole 2?
Yeah, it was fine.
It was great.
Yeah. Or no, excuse me, that was hole 4.
Okay.
Yeah. We can see if he can find a line. It looks like he's running it.
Looks like
though.
he actually is running it.
Taking his time, obviously. Wow, that was an aggressive bid. We'll see how far down the hill that's going to leave him. Oh, he's inside the circle, and he's a tall guy, so the raised basket might not play into effect.
Sure, but still, he's
more than he wants.
27-foot comebacker.
More than he wants.
Well, that's what he had to expect by going for that putt.
Absolutely. You pay the price, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if Eagle can convert on his birdie 2 after he has put himself in pretty good position.
And very safe.
Yes. Yeah, definitely would rather be below the basket putting up rather than above the basket putting down at this downslope past the
100%.
Mm-hmm.
His putt's been good today, so I'm going to expect a conversion.
Yeah, it was really an absolute pleasure to watch him play at Memorial. Just so dialed, man. Great player.
Nice.
Boom, clean release, and he's looking to make moves today. That is going to put him in a tie for first with Ricky, obviously pending this putt. So Ricky will probably pull ahead by a stroke, but Garrett is still losing ground, so he needs to make this just to keep pace. He has dropped all the way to a tie for 8th at 14 down.
And this is the kind of putt, that I was saying in the last hole, just 25 feet, not parked, but makes you feel better. And there you go.
But that, admittedly, was a little high.
It was a little high.
You need those to go in, absolutely, to get your
confidence.
confidence.
It was not an air ball.
It was not an air ball, and that's an improvement. James now with the tester, definite tester to
And
clean up
odd
his
that
three.
Garrett pulls himself out with a sidearm off
Yeah,
the tee.
yes, this is true. Sometimes it takes one of those. You know, your backhand's not dialed, and then you just throw up a fluke sidearm, and bang, you're birdieing. James obviously expected to make this putt. Oh no, just loses it right side. And I will say the one knock on James that I can come through, he has every shot in the game. The one knock is he does sometimes lose focus and will kind of devolve on one hole. We saw it at Waco 2 weekends ago, actually 3 weekends ago I think at this point.
Oof.
But Ricky there putting in his birdie too. James Conrad really just throwing great rounds, but then we'll have one hole that bites him. We'll see if this is going to be it. But at taking a bogey on this one, losing 2 strokes to the card, and really 2 strokes to most of the competing field. 3 birdies there and the unfortunate bogey before we move on to hole 9. We're going to take a word from our sponsors here.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Let's forget about the car for a moment. Your local next-gen qualifiers are all fun entry-level PDGA sanctioned C tiers. There are 3 ratings-based divisions, creating a competitive environment for beginners all the way up to amateurs aspiring to become professionals. Don't forget to sign up for the Next Gen Virtual Challenge. You get to play locally and see how you rank nationally. Don't miss out.
Alrighty, folks, as we stand, Ricky Wysocki is in the sole possession of the lead at 17 down. Eagle sitting at 16 down in second place. Then the log jam at 15 and 14 begins, where 6 players are tied at one of those 2 scores, including James Conrad, who just dropped from 15 down to 14 with that missed putt. A lot of action to go still, but just to keep you updated.
In challenging hole 9, this hole's playing 5th or 6th hardest.
Absolutely.
And the common theme again, this is playing a whole stroke over par today.
Wow, averaging 5?
4-5.
Wow.
Half a stroke
over
My
par.
apologies, half a stroke.
I'm not surprised because this hole is nasty. Really, you need to throw that net straight shot, but you got to pick a side of this tree to go on. Yesterday, we saw a few of our players go right of it, a few of our players go left. Hard to say which is the better approaching spot. I think it just kind of depends on if you're going to go sidearm or backhand.
What are you going to do? Yeah, what your preference is for up shots.
Exactly. I think if you're going sidearm, you want to be right of the tree. If you're going backhand, you want to be left of the tree, just to cut down that angle to the basket.
Ricky just put it, I think, exactly where he wants to be.
Right in the landing zone. That when you're designing the course, that's where you design the landing zone. Garrett looking to use that power to his advantage here and get as far up as he can. Obviously choosing to, maybe contend with that tree.
That guardian tree, he caught it.
But it's okay. Being next to that tree, as long as you don't have the branches in your face, you are still right in position to get up and down. Obviously just not quite the ideal landing zone. James dialing in the throw, always a very committed to the pre-throw routine. He is extremely consistent every shot, with really just getting in the right mindset before a throw.
Out of his shoes.
Really getting on top of the disc well. Looks like he has chosen the right side of that tree. We are going to catch up with the FPO division, though, before we see these upshots.
Paige Pierce coming off a triple bogey on hole number 8. But we catch up with everyone during their second shots on the par 5, hole number 9. Kona Panis with the eagle here yesterday. Second shots by Catrina and Hokom. Katrina's third shot is a forehand, and she's got that all day nestling next to the pin. Sarah deja vu from yesterday. Same tree underneath. And Sarah goes deep. She's got a long look coming with a headwind uphill. The jumper. Goodbye, Hokom. She's going to run down the birdie. Catrina's in lavender next to the pin. Catrina also takes the birdie. The other two par. They pick up strokes. We head to the back nine.
Wow, that huge putt by Sarah Hokom.
Oh my
How
God.
about that?
Yeah, crazy.
That was monstrous. Really impressive to see her putting like this after Waco that 1 week ago. I know we mentioned it yesterday.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. I've never even seen that footage. Should be stated, though, really impressive just to keep that mindset fresh and come back and really attack this course. She's trying to keep up with Paige, who's separated herself from the pack a little bit.
A little bit, but that lead has shrunk.
It absolutely
I think
has.
by about a couple strokes. And you can see the scores. They're all over par,
Absolutely.
and they were all under par yesterday.
And I think if you are trying to chase someone down who's so many strokes ahead, having that inclement weather is just what you want because it really kind of levels
increases
the playing
variance.
field. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting stuff. But now I believe we are getting close to seeing James Conrad shoot his second shot on this long, really intimidating par 4, hole 9. Like you said, playing a half a stroke over par really just has some teeth. And if you can get up, down, give yourself a chance at 3, you got to chalk that up as a W.
Yeah, you're getting. If you get a 3, you're getting 1.5 strokes on the field.
Yeah, and that's exactly what these guys need, especially Double G, especially James Conrad. Really get that back on track because they have had that slow start.
Conrad, I can't see him mustering enough power to get onto the green from where he is right now with just a standstill.
The patent pending, definitely not, obviously. Oh no, that doesn't look good. We'll see where that lands, but that is not the direction you need to be throwing. Yeah, he's going to be left side of the pin pretty significantly, so he's still got work to do to get up and down and get his par. You can see these, really this beautiful piece of property. I know the leaves aren't quite there, and that's kind of what makes that pop. But that's the rolling hills out here at Disc Side of Heaven. Really something that we don't see in a lot of courses. Pretty unique course feature.
Yeah, what a great name.
I know, isn't it? We see Double G kind of.
So he got great distance, but it seems like that tree actually might not play with a turnover, right-hand, backhand turnover.
Yeah, it's really tough to stick that green, especially when it does fall away from that backhand angle. We saw a couple guys yesterday get on the opposite side of the trees and basically just have to like pitch through it. Really, if you can navigate that overhanging branch, maybe 30-40 short of the pin, and tuck it back into there, you're okay. Should be noted, though, there is OB long right of the pin, so you're really not trying to get too aggressive.
Oh, okay.
Garrett Gurthie here.
You know, I'd like to talk about the rules real quick.
Okay.
So Garrett ran up to the top of the horizon to see where the basket is, came back down, did some motions. Now he's going back, he's switching discs.
I believe it is 30 seconds once you address your lie.
Right.
So he just walked back to address it, switching discs, and now he's going to throw again. Also, that would be crazy if they were hardcore.
No, I've never seen 30 seconds called. Ever.
Well, I've seen one try to be called.
Well, Scott Stokely had it called on him in Worlds, I remember.
Well, how about the Johnny McRae, Paul Macbeth incident, that like world famous?
Sure, at Memorial, right?
Yes.
Like 3 years ago.
Final round with a couple holes to go.
I mean, and I know it's obviously if you're in the woods and you're trying to establish a lie, it's different. And but I've really never seen it called.
I agree.
And it's almost like this rule that exists just to get people to like not take too long.
Yeah, it's just like just to keep you on your toes a little bit.
I mean, James, almost every single time, when you incorporate his warm up.
Oh yeah.
On his drive,
it's right around
he's
30.
Probably scraping 30 seconds.
Well, just think of Nico with his putts. I mean,
well,
he takes.
People have already counted him down over 30 several times.
Just saying.
I think we need like backcourt violation, like referees in basketball.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
You call them on just the ticky-tacky
just
stuff?
one ref with the arm.
Or they have a big clock right next to them with a 30-second timer.
Like a shot clock.
As Eagle rips his shot up there, he should have at least something to work with. Ricky looking to approach his disc. He definitely got some ground. He is going to be, I believe, in front of that tree. Oh, no, just to the left of it. With a pretty open approach, you can see that 250 to the pin marker.
I mean, he's throwing his harp.
As we said, his golf game usually starts with harp.
Question mark? Yes.
If not, something else. If yes, yes.
I like that he's toying with a backhand or a forehand.
I would say that's good course design.
Mm-hmm.
If either is viable. Looks like he is going to opt for that backhand, which is surprising considering the hill does probably support the entrance angle of the sidearm a little bit better. Going to play that big turnover shot. We'll see if it will pay off for him. Oh,
you
right
have to think that maybe that was the wrong choice.
I agree. Yeah,
I don't know what his angle of attack was, but it seems like the forehand was the better shot.
I agree, and I would love to be able to pick his brain in a moment like this, just to ask him why, because you saw him toying with both ideas. Hard to say exactly why he went backhand over sidearm. A lot of times it's just comfortability and confidence of putting it close rather than parking it. But he is such a dominant sidearm player. It's surprising to see him opt for the backhand.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 world titles and we have none, so I will trust his instincts.
This is fair.
It just seemed like the flight path going left to right was significantly the best way to approach the hole.
Yeah, and as we can see
and
here
now he can't even go for it.
No, exactly, because that sloping downhill is a really pressure putt. We see our leaderboard on screen now where AJ Risley's really continuing his charge, although he has stagnated a bit towards the middle of the section of this course. Garrett Gurthie, though, the big story, has dropped precipitously from 1 down to a tie with 6, 3 strokes off the lead. He's given up 5 to Ricky in the first 8 holes. So
wow, that's
really,
crazy.
Really the storyline that we're paying attention to is that battle between Gurthie and really the rest of the field, because it looked like he was about to dominate after round 1. James here lining up the approach, and a long bid, it looks like.
So his upshot must have been outstanding then.
That definitely was left of the pin. Okay, not a bit, obvious layup, but still great touch on that slow spinning approach.
Yeah, I can see why this hole's playing significantly over par, with the lead card struggling to get inside circle 2.
Absolutely.
For birdie.
Absolutely. And these guys are obviously the premier players out here. There's a bunch of great players, but these guys really showed that they had the course dialed after round 1. So any struggles, really, I mean, there is that inconsistency you see from all players, but I feel like the conditions with the wind, with the chilly, is a significant factor here.
You're ready.
By the way, Colton Montgomery just posted another birdie.
Wow, he is
on hole 16, and has moved to tie for second place at 16. Now, granted, there's a lot of real estate for these golfers to birdie also, but he's playing spectacular today.
He absolutely is. That puts him at 8 down through 16 holes. Granted, he has 2 of the tougher holes in the course. He left.
Ricky is going for this putt.
Hey, Ricky, don't lay up. Wow, just graces it over the top and is looking for it to sit down. It is rolling a bit, and he might have a little bit of a tester to come back at that.
I mean, that is aggressive.
Eagle putting from basically the same spot. I kind of expect a layup here.
He looks like he's lining up for a layup.
That's what I was thinking as well, but I mean, he is taking a lot of time for this layup. Going to put a lot of angle on it. Ooh. Wow, that was a very straight-added approach.
Absolutely. That was shocking.
At
first I thought he was taking time to figure out the angle of release to hit the ground.
No, that was to hit the chains. It's really important.
That's so much confidence to putt that fast downhill.
I was just going to say it's important to keep the disc in the plane of the basket for as long as possible. You can see Garrett putting here for his 3. Looks like his upshot was pretty spectacular.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, cashes it in, getting back on track. We saw him
2 in a row.
We saw him hit that birdie on the shorter left to right hole. Really, you were talking about an inspiration putt. It looks to me like that was a confidence booster, and this one too, kind of building off that last one and hopefully entering into a bit of a state here going to this back 9.
Ricky did leave some meat on the bone.
Definitely.
He has like a compromised 27-footer.
Yeah, that was that little bonus roll he got after the disc hit the ground.
That's what you get, though, right?
Yeah, he definitely ran it from 65.
Oh, wow.
That's what you get when Ricky's putting.
That's why you go for it.
Yes. That is the alternative. The camera is obviously zoomed in a little bit, does compress that distance, but that was a pretty big putt. Gurthie with the only birdie reclaiming the card, looking to build on that as we move to the back nine, hole 10.
Tempercraft USA. Double wall 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Catching back with our action here on hole 10, the pretty obvious sidearm hole. It's curious to see if Garrett, who has the box, goes back to that sidearm, which he did kind of start this 2-birdie run with. So interesting if he'll play that backhand turnover or the sidearm. These guys getting their scores. Before we get started, did start our lead card about a half an hour after our second card, so we should, fingers crossed, have pretty smooth sailing as these pedestrians meander about. This is obviously an extremely public park out here. A lot of folks walking around. No, obviously kidding.
Yeah, it's just like Memorial, right?
Yeah, no, about as opposite as you can go. This piece of property is, I believe, a private property.
It's a private course.
So one of the best things about a course like this is that lack of pedestrians and kind of just your own slice of heaven.
You know, it's in disc golf, as we grow, we all want more spectators, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes if you have a critical mass of spectators, it actually can impact playability.
That, and not to cut you there, but that was what looked to be a pretty impressive shot by Garrett. Almost have too much angle. That had a lot of turn on it.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to throw right hand back in.
Yeah, like you said, though, it is that fine line between too many people around causing chaos and not enough people to warrant these sponsors coming in or the attention that we'd like to.
You can't get both.
You can't get both.
No, you can't. If you want more money coming in, you need more eyeballs digitally and on site.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we're just going to have to, if once we get bigger events, more akin to like USDDC, obviously Portland always has huge crowds. We just have to do a good job with crowd control.
Absolutely, and that's paramount. Obviously, the Portland guys up there at Beaver State Fling do an incredible job with their gallery. I've been out there the past few years as Eagle puts it into the ground, and then Ricky floating one up there.
Yeah, it looks like he got like 2 air bounces in a row.
And 2 tree kicks.
Yeah.
So
and he's outside circle, too. That's not what he wanted on a hole that is...
pretty favorable to a sidearm.
Absolutely.
We'll see James. I know he throws really controlled turnovers. See if he can kind of force one over. We saw Kona absolutely park it with that turnover shot yesterday. See if he can maybe bite off that line a little bit. Looks to be throwing his beat-up Leopard, is my guess.
And as hole 10 is the middle of the pack for the course, it's the middle of the pack for difficulty as well.
Ooh, rough kick into the woods, though, for James. Obviously not satisfied as we check out how the FPO played this.
360 feet for hole number 10. Yesterday, Kona Panis played it off of the elevated basket and a tap-in birdie. Today, Hokom turning it over, trying to fight the wind. The snow has let up, but it's not getting any nicer out. The drive by Catrina puts her left side fairway. That's turned over by Walker. She's short and on the right side. Should have an easy up and down. And Pierce low next to Walker, just a few feet in front of her. Great looking forehand by Walker coming in. Oh, and hits the elevated pin and then rolls away on her. She's got this left for par and finds more metal, but not the right kind. That's a bogey for Walker on 10.
And we just saw, before we came back from that FPO, looks like Ricky did just throw just a pretty easy upshot. No reason to run it. He had a kind of an odd angle, and that raised basket with that downslope afterwards really wreaking havoc on anything that's going to blow by the basket.
Now, is he really going to go for this?
He's an animal if he does. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
he's
way out
already,
circle 2.
Oh, no. Good,
okay.
Good.
Makes me feel better about my game.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, and we are going to see, I believe, James from the Nasty before Double G. He is in a world of hurt, is my guess. He still, I don't think, actually has located his disc. So as he trudges through the forest...
I know, it's like National Geographic.
Yeah, I know. Here we see James in his natural environment, looking for his prey. Looks like he spotted it. Back to regularly scheduled program, though. James probably not going to have anything but a straight
We
up
thought
layup
that
from
last
here.
time,
That's true,
remember?
he ran it.
And he bogeyed.
And so maybe, hopefully, he has learned from that mistake.
But I can't see him having a clear line to the target. I mean, we can't really see him.
His body. Yeah, I know. All we can see is the shining pink JK AVR that he's about to throw. And admittedly, the trees do look a bit post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It's a pretty harrowing
like ashen.
scene. Yes. As the snow has dried from this morning. Gosh, he is just in the nasty back there. Kind of reminiscent to that Waco fairways.
Although if he has a way to run it, he is uphill.
That is true. And he's putting back up. He's not putting down.
Air quotes putting.
Oh, yeah. Tossing, maybe. Let's see if he can get dialed in. He is, like we said.
It looks like he's setting up a... Yeah, he's going to go for something.
Kind of pitching it up. Okay, well, obviously...
He was just lobbing up.
Yeah, but he looks like he had to go above him to find a line anywhere close to the basket. Double G looks like he is maybe a step into the woods, couple steps into the woods. He might be able to pitch it out and give it something.
I mean, this is the best drive on the card.
And we've seen 3 straight 100% layups, 4 straight 100% layups on this hole. So that's a testament to how
and the
tough.
hole played over par today again, and yesterday it was under.
Wow. Okay, so
3.11 versus 2.78.
That's about pretty close to a half stroke harder. Interesting stuff there as we see all these guys tapping in. They're pretty easy peasy threesies. No reason to get froggy, though, from any of their lies. James looking to have the longest tap in, but really a great out to get him to this point. Hole 10 coming in, you said, what, 3.11 average?
Yeah, and it'll be about the same after these guys hole up. But yeah, just a fraction over par.
Alrighty, well, there you see it. It did play about 2 what is average today. See if these guys can maybe attack 11 with a little bit more authority. Alrighty, and moving right along, we are here on hole 11, the hole most infamous for Simon kind of reinventing how to play it. These guys, though, this year are going to be throwing this big hyzer out into a landing zone and then kind of throwing that soft left to right touchy sidearm up to the basket. obviously not allowed to play that big turnover line like they did the first couple rounds last year. And this hole does kind of harken back to hole 7. Kind of has that same right to left off the tee, then left to right into the basket.
Yeah, and just like hole 7, it's one of the only 3 holes in the course that's playing under par.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, this is playing 378. It's under 600 feet.
Yeah, it is about 50 feet shorter than hole 7, so we are expected to see a little bit better of scoring. Having said that, that wall in front of the pin is way more cluttered. You are able to putt through the trees on hole 7, whereas if you get off to the right at all, you're in the nasty.
Yeah, you're in a jail.
Yep. Ricky looking to keep pace with eagle there. Really nothing too extraordinary off the tee. Looks like he got that one a little bit righter than he wanted to, but it is going to hyzer back. He is going to have a pretty tight approach around those trees, but he's right where he needs to be. He's got a solid sidearm, so.
Yeah, it seems like anything near those big, beautiful bales of hay is a great, if you want to be forward of those 50 to 100 feet.
Yep, absolutely. My guess is James throws this destroyer out into a good amount past those. That would be, if I had to wager, I guess, I think he's going to rip this one pretty far past the hay bales, or the hay rolls, I guess. I don't know. It does kind of just smooth it out there. There isn't any real reason. Oh, and smooths it 50 to 60 past him. But no reason to really bite off too much. We'll see if the FPO is able to bite some off the tee.
Hole 11, another par 4, 560 feet. Paige Pierce still with a 6-stroke advantage. We catch up with Hokom's second shot, and she needed it wider. She finds the middle of the woods on the right side. That's going to be trouble. Hanging it wider is Madison Walker. She'll get the skip and be looking at a long putt. Catrina Allen also has the forehand. Scared of the wood, she keeps it left. Hokom's got work to do. She can't get all the way out with the roller. This is Hokom to save her par, and she stumbles. She walks away with the bogey, and we're through 11 holes during round 2.
Absolutely beautiful to see those snow-capped bales of hay on the fairway. Wasn't
awesome.
that nice? Like, so majestic.
Just when I thought, actually, the weather had improved for the women this morning.
It just comes right
it's
back
snowing
down.
in Arkansas again.
Oh, and we are in April, folks.
The 7th of April.
Yeah, this is just, it's unbelievable.
And like a southern state, you know?
Yeah, but I will say it's very unique and cool to see on camera. I haven't seen any tournaments like that filmed.
No, I can't think of any tournament that had snow.
No, it's
I
so
mean,
cool.
except for like, some smaller ones you see in like ice bowls in Minnesota.
Sure, yeah, of course, sure. But like any big tier major.
Pro Tour, NT, major, never. I mean, maybe never.
Yeah, no, I would actually challenge it to the viewers. If anyone knows of any video from any of the big A-tier, NT, those big tournaments, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Please link us. As Garrett kind of takes in the surroundings, he did pinch himself a little bit under that tree, so not obviously where he wants to be. But I think he might have something to work with. Looking like he is going back to that sidearm. Does play well with the fairway and that little keyhole into the basket. Ooh, way out and around.
Big flex sidearm.
He was way pinched in there. Oh, wow. Okay, right next to a basket.
That's the distance marker.
Yeah, that's the distance marker. Excuse me. Great positioning.
We're playing
there by
like
Chad.
old school disc golf.
This is all tone poles out
yeah.
here. Yep, all tone poles. These guys make their way obviously further up the fairway. Yeah, Double G, not the distance you would like. You can see those hay bales right there that you're really trying to hyzer out and around. So he was significantly shorter.
Speaking of hyzer, Corey.
Yes?
Have you ever wondered where that came from?
I assumed it was Germanic en route.
It's not really, no.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you know who Stansel Johnson is. He's PDGA number 9.
Good guy, Stansel is.
Yeah, great guy. Lives down in Carmel, close to Monterey. And he wrote a book back in '75 called Frisbee, A Practitioner's Manual and Definitive Treatise.
Treatise,
yes. Sorry, thank you for the... well, that's another word I just made up.
Yeah.
And he referred to the angle of hyzer on page 57 of that book.
Really?
And that's allegedly the first time that was dropped. And I think the lore goes through, I think that was someone's name perhaps in Guts.
Really? Like an infamous Guts player?
Yeah.
Wow. That's an interesting little tidbit there. That was so the Heiser dates all the way back to 1975.
Yeah. It's funny. I was at the St. Jude tournament years ago and having a beer at the bar.
As James Conrad throws up to the pin.
And Stansel came up to me and asked me if I knew where it came from, and I had no idea.
Wait, hold on. He name dropped his own invention.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I think he had a book like inside his jacket pocket.
No, he did not. His own book. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's like Sexton walking around with the Sexton Firebird.
Yeah. If you've had the pleasure of meeting him, he always is 1040 rated dressed, including his wife. Like,
unbelievable.
Oh, like
a
smoking jacket and monocle and
big blazer guy.
Yeah.
As Eagle puts himself right where you want to be, pretty much right on top of that pin. You can see that jail just before the basket is significantly nastier than hole 7, despite having that similarity. That's the one big difference on this hole. These Conrad and Eagle both putting themselves in pretty scoreable position.
Yeah, I would expect at least. I mean, I was expecting maybe a star frame on this hole.
Yeah,
and at least 2 people.
We see Wysocki there sitting at 17 down, and Colton Montgomery currently tied with the lead, sitting at 17 down and 9 down on the round. Obviously, these guys have some room to catch up to that 9 down for the round. They got a few holes left to play, but
yeah, of course, but
should not be understated.
He just turkeyed.
Wow, 15, 16, 17, he was able to turkey, looking to keep that going into 18 as Garrett almost converts from outside of circle 1, possibly outside circle 2. Hard to tell from that angle.
And Colton going to hole 18, and just so you know, there's only 2 birdies on that hole today.
2 birdies,
and it's from our friends from yesterday.
I was just gonna say 2 folks that we saw yesterday. So Kevin has now gone birdie. Kevin Jones on 18 in the past 2 days, birdie. He did end with 7 of 8 down the stretch to put himself back into contention, sitting at 12 down as Eagle taps in his 3. And we are getting close to moving on. James with the cleanup crew next, I believe, with Ricky and Double G to follow. So we have got some tight action here at the top. My guess, though, is some of these guys are going to separate themselves on the lead card because we are a few holes back. But Eric Oakley, Chris Dickerson, Dave Feldberg, all trying to make statements that they deserve to be on lead card final round. We will catch you guys back up with that action and more of ours on hole 12 shortly after we check out these ads. As we join ourselves back in the booth, I notice that Sean has grabbed something from behind the desk. It looks brown. It looks plastic. Is that Grip 6?
It's a brand new Grip 6 belt.
Wow, with wood grain to try and mask that plastic.
Yeah,
make it
and you can
joint.
rotate. You can easily change these 2.
Oh, so it's modular.
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's actually great practical invention there. And what's more practical is that tape that you have attached to make it look like that. Really impressive craftsmanship from Sean. Impressive stuff. Grip 6 belt really stepping up this year, and
yeah, we were super excited to get them as a Pro Tour partner.
Yes,
they jumped on full force.
Yeah, really appreciate them stepping in.
Great small to medium sized company out of Utah.
I was gonna say they really have that small to medium sized company feel. We are here at hole 12 though, getting back to our action as Eagle lets it loose, and it looks to be a little bit turned over. Hard to tell if that is over. Oh, and that is out of bounds. We see the big X down there by our spectators' hands. This hole playing 0.6 strokes harder than it did yesterday, which makes sense because with a windier day, these big valley shots are going to be toyed with.
See yeah, almost a third stroke over par.
Yeah,
with a talented field.
Exactly.
Ricky likes this one. He's doing the walk away.
I was just going to say, see if he can maintain that angle, because it is tough to set it on that Annie angle and have it ride out with some wind. Really, the shot you're looking for is just what we saw from Ricky, really just punching it past the valley, leaving yourself that pretty much right angle to the basket from down there.
So, Corey, how does the OB, you think, on this OB moat affect the way the players attack it? Do you think if they have elite distance that it matters at all?
I would say the only thing that it doesn't play into their head at all, other than the fact that it makes them even more hesitant to fiddle around with that tree in the center, is my guess.
Because the tree basically is like...
knocks you into OB.
SWAT team, right?
Yes. Matumbo, for sure. As James does cut it a little close to that right side, but he is right where you want to be. Obviously, hair longer than Ricky Wysocki on the approach, but he's got that great command with putters, so we expect him to be able to get up and down and at least give himself a chance on this really treacherous green. Double G really playing it up in the air. Hard to tell if he was actually trying to go for the pin here. He definitely does have
10 more seconds and we'll see where it is.
Distance, yeah, MTA, certainly MTA. Alrighty, it looks like he is at least in the fairway, so we're going to check out how the FPO played a modified version of this hole.
Maintenance is the name of the game today. Paige Pierce sitting +4, as is Madison Walker. Catrina Allen off to the right side, playing it very safe. Maybe a little too safe to that far right side. Paige Pierce running hard, giving it everything she's got at 535. She easily clears the OB and is sitting hillside, putting herself in great position for the birdie. The twirling roller 360 with the backstop. Somehow that works out for Walker. She's short and stays inbounds. Hokom plays it safe to the center of the fairway. Second shot turns over. And that is short and left.
I almost got to Paige's drive.
She says she's not quite as far as Paige's massive crush. From short of OB, Walker goes onto the hillside, also finding herself close to Paige's drive. Here's her approach. One of my favorite shots of the round thus far. Just over the basket, but Madison saves par the hard way. Easy birdie for... oh, Paige. She's going to clean up. She walks away. Everybody pars. We move through to 13.
Wow, and after watching that huge putt by Madison Walker and the missed putt by Paige Pierce, that two-stroke swing, on that FPO side, Paige obviously with the 7-stroke lead coming into the round, a few strokes to give, but still something of note that she is not maintaining that absolutely hot pace that she set in round 1.
No, I mean, it's everyone's significantly over par versus under par.
Yeah.
We'll find out a little bit later to see actually how much more difficult the course is playing today for them.
I have to imagine it's significant with the blizzard-like conditions and the increased wind. It's going to be strokes. I have to imagine.
Corey, you must have grew up in somewhere warm like Southern California.
Yes. I'm not a big snow guy.
Okay.
California.
Blizzards are a little bit different than
that to me is
a flurry
that
of snow.
Are we gonna? That's okay. I'll admit it's probably more of a flurry, but that's as close to a blizzard as I will.
And I believe blizzard is based on wind speed more than it is actually snow accumulation.
Okay, good to know. Noted for next snow round. Eagle, with that unfortunate OB, is going to have to take the compromise stance and throw a sidearm up to the green, and that is just a tough angle to stick. We'll see if he can have a putt from there as our competitors do cross this valley. It is going to be just a sec until they approach their discs. One thing I would like to mention is we have been tracking the Masters on our separate screen here, and Patrick Reed is putting it down. He came into the round at 9 down, sitting at 15 down 5 strokes ahead of Rory McIlroy. Really impressive stuff from a guy that nobody really saw happening. He just eagled the hole 15. He had eagle, par, eagle, 4 down through 3 holes. He is really making a statement to go out and win this thing. He is like playing Paige level golf. Relative to the
he's
field.
5 strokes against the greatest field in the world.
Wow. So as the Masters unfold, to our left, to our right, the James Conrad is about to line up this AVR shot that is extremely technical, Sean.
Yeah, just where the basket is positioned on this hillside.
It's brutal.
It's all about how your disc lands. You can't just throw a hyzer and hope it doesn't roll away.
100%. You got to match that angle of that slope really nicely. Looking like James has... But it's a short putt. It's inside the circle, but that is not fun.
You know, this actually, I give a shout out to our boys out in Napa playing a tournament today at the Vintage Cup.
The Vintage Cup.
Yeah, that was the first course that I played where I had to start thinking about the angle of landing angle on the Frisbee.
Absolutely. This green definitely has that Napa feel, where anything that hits basket is liable to roll 50, 60 feet.
Yeah, you can have twice as long of a shot as that you just had.
Ricky upping with the Harp, looking to match the angle on that sidearm. Does pretty successfully, but...
Oh, that's perfect.
You're good. He got the roll. That very well could have caught angle.
Yeah, I think the right-hand backhand putter is the better way to attack it because you can land it flat, whereas Ricky was just kind of hoping.
Exactly. You have to throw it with not so much hyzer that it isn't going to just flare all the way down there. Looking like Garrett Gurthie lining up his options, throwing up and over this hill and then onto that downslope. It is just so touchy. Really a course design that we don't see a lot out of these big time courses. It's pretty unique.
It's great. I really enjoy it. This is a hole that if you don't have extraordinary power off the tee, par is going to be really good.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't even see, AMs parring this hole. Garrett gives it a bid, kind of flying over the basket. We saw Peter McBride in our little bit of bonus coverage yesterday kind of making that same mistake. Now his righty hyzer putt is not going to be friendly with this hill.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
No, he's putting with a huge slope right to left. So if he airballs either side, he's probably going to be tacking on 2 more strokes.
Yeah, we'll see how much stones he's got. If he really tries to give this a bid.
I think if he was in the lead right now, he'd lay this putt up.
But he needs it.
But seeing he's back by 3, and he's only 1 down for the round, versus yesterday, he was, I think, 37 down through this many holes.
Yes, that's a fact. I believe he had aced every single hole up to this point. As Eagle lines up his pretty far outside the circle putt, looking to
safe.
me like 70. Exactly. This is the angle that you want to be putting from this distance from.
This is where you wish you were ambidextrous for putting. Right?
Exactly.
Like, if Garrett could putt left-handed, it'd be a lot easier.
Wow, pure layup from Eagle. That is
bogey.
So uncommon. For bogey, exactly. With that right-to-left tailwind, though, that very well could have exposed the flight plate up to that and got a little bit of a roll. So probably the smart play. That's a guy who's wanting to win an event, not put on a show.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'd say that's the 2018 Eagle.
I totally agree. Really, I feel like learning a lot from the mistakes that Simon has made in the past, where Simon maybe has put a little bit too much emphasis on aerial displays and putting on a show rather than playing the best golf he can.
He's kind of under the pin here. It's actually not too much of a death putt.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't matter.
I love seeing his putts go in from a distance. It's like...
Because they're like 6 feet wide of the basket.
No, I know. It really reminds me of Christian Dietrich, the way he putts.
Sure.
I think Christian Dietrich maybe puts a little bit more velocity on his, and it spins a few more times, but definitely that same hyzer angle into the basket.
Expecting Ricky to convert this easily.
Yeah, uphill, from 22?
Well done.
Yep. As it should. No spit out problems there, though it did sneak into the backside of that basket.
And jumping out to a 2-stroke lead.
That is true, because with Eagle taking that bogey, Ricky bringing in the birdie, we have seen a 2-stroke separation, and once James hopefully converts on this putt, we will give you a scoring update for the rest of this field. James capitalizing there, taking in the birdie, putting him at 16 down. But it should be noted that Colton Montgomery has just gone 4 for 4 on the last 4 holes. That means a birdie on 18. He is in sole possession of second place before we head on to hole 13.
This is Dan, and this is Tyler. Dan and Tyler like disc, and they like beer, so they combine them in a rigorous scientific process. Disc Golf, a card game that challenges your disc skills, drinking ability, and your friendships. With 3 categories and over 50 individual cards, mix and match. Get rid of cards you don't like, or make your own rules. Disc Golf is truly American.
Wysocki on the tee very shortly. Ricky looking to play that sidearm gap. It's really the only two. You have 2 options. You can play the wide left gap with a sidearm, and you can play this big hyzer off to that right side.
Don't call it a comeback, but he's 3 down through the last 5 holes.
Wow, that's cooking. Eagle looking to use his power to really get up next to the pin. Got to keep it on that hyzer angle. Wow, and I am getting word right now that Will Schustrick just chained out on hole 15 on that ace run. That is that short 270-foot hole. Would have been nice to have that on camera, but unfortunately probably not. Eagle, though, putting himself in position. He is up that hill as well. These guys making it look easy. See how the FPO played. Oh, excuse me. We are going straight to Ricky, who has found trouble off the tee.
He threw it too low.
Yeah, he's going to be upping to right under the basket, as expected. It was a pretty open shot. Excuse me, now we're going to check out how the FPO played this hole.
We pick back up on hole number 13, which is very righty-friendly. If you're throwing a backhand, we've got the putts after the drive. Madison finds herself short and below the basket. Paige Pierce doesn't draw any metal. She's praying to the wind gods there, but Hokom's got an uphill look at birdie and cans it. That's 2 days in a row. Backhand drive, Sarah Hokom, 2 birdies. You guys should challenge her on YouTube or something. I know you usually do, as Catrina doesn't draw any metal. She's got a comebacker for the par, and the wind says no thank you. Paige has a little tester, but she makes the par putt, bringing it back. Catrina's going to walk away with the bogey. We see 2.
Good thing cut.
And call her Sarah Snowcomb, because she just cashed another one. She is dialed with that putter today. James looking to convert his 2. Oh, wow, huge putt. Anytime he hits one of those big ones, the thing to watch is that follow through with the hand. He does such a good job keeping that up and painting the pole.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful commitment.
It's like a good 3-point shooter.
Exactly. You just have it hanging up.
Yep.
He puts a little 3-point sign down. He runs away, just like Swaggy Pete, and he's off. Eagle looking to convert also. Wow, if we get a star... Oh, excuse me. Rick did up for the 3, but if we get a 3-pointed star frame, that's even impressive.
Yeah, with the hole playing it basically even, to have 3 birdies means that this group is outperforming everyone.
Yeah, and that's a solid putt, solid hit by Eagle.
And good comeback from the bogey.
Yeah, and as we were saying earlier about Garrett being kind of slow, he took those 2 bogeys, then the par, but now he has gotten back on track. If he can put this down, this will be 5 birdies out of his last 7 holes. He has, and he is cooking. Ricky tapping in the 3, and we are moving on to 14 after this. Getting back on the tee for here at hole 14, James Conrad on the box and looking to really put one down into this valley. It is 520 feet of really a net straight shot downhill. You have tons of room to work with. There is OB before the basket. A pretty significant chunk is marked OB, but really you're just trying to pipe one all the way down there. James definitely has a shot. See if he can execute.
That was looking good.
Looking good, but it is going to hyzer out early. He could get that Ricky... Ooh, that's a solid roll back out, though.
Yep. Well, looks like he's got a long look.
Yeah, maybe Circle 2's edge, inside Circle 2, barely. But he is in business.
And James putting himself back close to the top of the leaderboard with that turkey.
Oh, yes, that is true. He has turkeyed the last 3, moving him back into a tie for 5th place, sitting at 17 down. Garrett looking to continue this charge. Wow, this looks good, Sean. This is beautiful. Get in. Oh my! Wow. If with an ace like that, if that would have gone in, that would have been maybe the best ace ever. The greatest ace ever. Yes. Wow, Garrett Gurthie really putting on a display there.
Well over 500 feet.
Downhill, beautiful hole.
Wow, and it would have been. I mean, it was still steaming.
Yeah, that would have actually might have broken the knocked the chains out or something.
Imploded the basket.
Eagle, again, has the power and has the command on the disc to make something happen here. Hyzering out a bit early. Definitely going to have to navigate those trees.
It seems like it's so difficult to keep the disc going straight that long.
And if you see, they do have that right to left tailwind, so really committing to turning it over into that wind can wreak havoc. Ricky throwing the invisible disc down there. Really would advocate for all of our players not to throw dark blue or purple. He is going to catch that tree and be just outside of Circle 2. We'll see how the FPO division played this in a sec.
Hole number 14, a par 4, 520-foot downhill shot. The scores are tight. +4s and +3s across the board. And Paige Pierce can air it out again. She's going to challenge the OB and clears it easily. Paige Pierce doesn't know how to lay up. Catrina Allen says, I'm going to play it safer, right to the base of the hill. She'll play it from there. She's playing for the 3 if she can get up and over. She does. She needs a little skip. She gets it. And Pierce is from the left side with the forehand, putting it out to the middle. Uphill putt just squeaks in. Birdie for Pierce, birdie for Allen. They each pick up a stroke on their card mates. Pierce 9 under par through 14.
Wow, just really impressive stuff there by Garrett. We showed the little instant replay, but that almost went in, and that's 520 of net straight. There is so much room to work with. It is difficult to commit to having that flat, nose-down flight, top of the world style.
Extraordinarily impressive. I mean, look at the other 3 guys in the group that are all top 20 in the world.
Yeah,
essentially.
and they're not. I mean, they didn't miss it by much.
No,
but they missed it.
And not many of them have a putt.
No.
So, if any.
Real impressive stuff. Hopefully we can get back to the green here as Ricky is setting up for his putt for 2. Unfortunately, did leave it a little bit wide. We will get back to that shortly after we check out our faces for a little bit longer. Should be noted that this hole is scoring well above par. It is averaging close to half a stroke over par. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is one of the tougher holes out here, definitely. Hole 14, yeah.
A whole half stroke.
A whole half stroke. So, plays as a par 4 for the FPO division, a par 3 for the MPO division. You can really start to see that disparity between the two. A little bit of a headwind. Hard to tell if he's going to try and hit this gap left of this little snaggle tree here. But it really looks like his only shot at... Oh, no, okay, clear layup. No sense repeating mistake number 1 after that hole 6. Or no, excuse me, that hole 8 kind of fiasco that he had.
Yeah, Corey, only about 15 birdies on this hole all day.
That's...
So not as insane as hole 5.
I was going to say, but I feel like that's pretty good. I'm surprised that 15 people were able to do this. This is a really, really techie hole.
I hope that Garrett didn't skip out too long. I'd like to see him get rewarded. But as a lot of ace runs go, they don't convert to birdie.
Exactly. We saw Seppo absolutely park the hole, but obviously not anywhere close to the basket. So if you're coming in chain high on an elevated basket like this with as much steam as he had, it's hard to tell if he is going to be inside the circle or maybe splashed out to something rough.
Eagle looks like he's got something to work with here. And he's made at least 2 putts outside.
Yeah, definitely not... Oh, see, clear layup again. Definitely that drop away after the basket playing into his head, I think.
Second time I've seen him, lay up, though. And once for bogey.
This is true. So we are seeing... Actually, that's 3 layups, because didn't he lay up on the hole 10, a little sidearm hole as well? So we're seeing kind of a different attitude from Eagle, really trying to stay on that lead card and just stay relevant.
And Garrett for turkey here, on a hard turkey to get.
Oh, nice. His confidence is back. You saw
a
the
big fist bump, yeah.
He is jacked up, and he is ready to strike here on these last 4 holes, 15, 16, 17, and 18, which are playing as some of the harder holes out here. Obviously not counting 15, the easiest hole on the course.
And we saw Mr. Will Schuster yesterday shoot 5 down on those 4 holes.
Absolutely. This should be noted that he almost aced hole 15, too, so if any of our fans out there are tracking wheels around, he is playing vintage Will Schuster right now. Read in an article that he claimed it was a thrower's course, still not 100% healthy. So should be interesting to see how he scores from here on out. Gurthie coming back into 2nd place with that birdie.
Oh, is that why?
We are here back on the tee of hole 15, the easiest hole on the course. Should be noted that yesterday, during his course record, Garrett Gurthie was unable to convert the 2 on this hole. Kind of shocking considering he had an eagle and he had a birdie on some of the harder holes out here. See if he can clean it up today. Coming in with 3 birdies in a row, he is looking to birdie this as well, and he is right in position, inside the circle, maybe 19, 20 feet?
Yeah, I mean, the only issue with that putt is that it's, a little bit of a death putt, but at this level, it seems like they're impervious to that.
And right now, his putt seems dialed.
Yeah, honestly, remember I said he needed 1 big putt to get back in?
And it seems like
not
that was
missed since then.
Kind of interesting to see somebody go from so cold to so hot midway through the round. Don't see that a lot, Coming in 6th place at 17 down, really needs to stack some strokes here, James Conrad. Beautiful. He's going to be making minis with Garrett there.
Yeah, like the exact same spot.
Yep, no reason fooling around with this one. You have to imagine that an ace run is going to splash out pretty good on that left side. So really these guys are trying to burn this straight to hyzer shot into the hillside and let it stick.
Yeah, it seems like the ace is actually a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Which often it is in disc golf, right?
This is true.
Most of the time you don't want to be shooting for ace.
No, because you're going to be blasting by with a 40-footer coming back. Ricky Wysocki sitting at 19 down in sole possession of first place. He needs to keep this pace up, though. Throws the easy hyzer. And he's under the bucket. He's determined. He's fired up and ready to play. Let's see how this FPO plays.
Hole number 15. Paige Pierce sits at 9 under overall. Catrina Allen with the best score in the group at +2. This is a must-get birdie. Plays to the right, finishes on the hillside, and the wind's pushing. Sarah Hokom going with another backhand. She's birdied 13 again today. Here she is on 15 with a backhand and putting herself within range. Madison Walker relying on backhands this year, fighting off the tendinitis, keeping her away from the forehands. And she's short and left. Catrina uphill, tailwind putt all day. Madison answers. Sarah Hokom wants to make it 3 for 3, and she'll do it. Paige Pierce to clean up the star frame from less than 15. No.
Gosh, the unfortunate miss from Paige there to kind of muddle up that star frame.
Yeah, I was counting the star frame once Sarah converted.
I have to think that maybe...
I was thinking, are we going to get 2 star frames?
No way. I have to think that jet lag maybe is catching up with her on day 2 of being in the area. James here looking up. Oh, good. Woo! Buries it in there. A little low.
Crawling over the cage.
A little low, but with that nose-up spin putt, that's not a bad miss. Yeah, oh so close to that double star frame between MPO and FPO. But
yeah, I wonder if we're going to see that.
Looks like we are going to get that star frame from MPO. Hopefully Garrett putting this one in. Beautiful.
Well done.
Yeah.
4 in a row. 6 through 8.
That is 6 birdies through his last 8, and those 2 blemishes earlier in the round are seeming farther and farther away at this point, because that is going to put him in a tie for first place, obviously pending Ricky's putt here. But he has passed up Eagle, who had a few strokes on him earlier in the round.
I'm going to guess that Ricky's going to convert.
Yeah, Ricky with the tap in, and we are going to catch up with you guys on hole 16 shortly after we get a word from our sponsors. Here we are on the tee of hole 15, the big par 5. Looking to score here. These guys, hole 16, the big par 5. These guys are looking to score. It is extremely threeable. We saw Garrett get a 3. We saw a lot of 3s yesterday. Today, 1 3. That man, Zach Melton, one of 2 players yesterday who was able to go birdie to finish. So Zach really establishing himself on these really difficult holes. Unfortunately, he did follow up the 3 with a bogey 5 on 17. So look forward to seeing how these guys are able to approach, especially Garrett with his power, really that perfect level of power to get himself into that window to throw across the window, throw across the water, excuse me.
I'm expecting we're going to add at least one more eagle to the list.
Well, especially yesterday. I mean, Ricky played it so casually. Under the bucket 3.
Yeah. Dropping eagles are infrequent.
Extremely.
Even in conventional golf.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, conventional golf, we're talking, you're hitting a 300-yard drive next to the hole.
Right,
It's not going to happen. Garrett on the tee here. Testing the wind, really looking for, my guess, a tailwind would probably be the ideal here, just so you can rip it all the way down there. The casual 500 toss.
I know.
It is so smooth. That disc is on the perfect flight plane, and that is... That's in front of the tree.
Yeah, that tree is the only thing that really gets in the way when they have that kind of power.
That is prime time. He is right there to be able to convert on his 3. Obviously, carrying the water is really where the strokes can add up. But where he is, shouldn't have a big problem. James testing the runway here on his drive. Hard to tell. He has been a little bit left to right on his release, a little bit turned over, but if he can get it flying nice, he is definitely one of those power guys that can reach the opening. All right, we get to play the game of how stable is it? Not stable enough is the answer. He is going to be flirting with that right side.
Yep.
My guess, and he could try a kind of a nutty over the top shot, my guess is he will be pitching up to that opening.
Yeah, he seems to be similar to where Kevin was yesterday.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened.
Yeah, not quite as guarded.
Not as pinched.
Not as pinched, but he's going to have like kind of that similar angle where you're going to have to get creative to get it over the water. See if he goes with the Nate layup approach or the Kevin just rip it at all cost approach. Wow, pretty extreme hyzer angle out of Eagle's hand. And did he clip that tree? I think he might have, and he, I believe, has dropped significantly short. That is not what my fantasy team needs to see.
Who did you pick? Who'd you pick this weekend, Corey?
My 4 choices, as Ricky is, gosh, he is just dialed on the tee. Oh no, that is turned over. He is in Jamesville. My 4 choices for the weekend were Paul Eagle, James Conrad, and then my value play of Kevin Jones, who did finish great today.
He shot a 6 down today.
He did, but 6 at the end. As these guys are moving up to their lives, we're going to check this FPO out.
Hole number 16, 520 feet, a 2-shot hole. We pick up with them after their drives. The second shot's to clear the water. Pierce asking for it to get down. It's going to be high left side. She's still looking at a long birdie. Catrina wants to just lay it up to the water's edge. Questioning if she's OB, but she's safe. Madison Walker's forehand, too much carry. She's out of bounds. Sarah Hokom's going to challenge the water, clears it, and gets it to sit in bounds. Catrina's 3rd shot over in Paige Pierce territory. Walker out and over the water, but short. She'll have an uphill putt. And Catrina is going to ultimately walk away with the bogey. And Madison doesn't convert. She takes the double bogey. Hole 16 bites them again.
Here we are at Eagle's drive shot. And as you hear just outside the Anza studios, there is a delivery coming into the apartment, so please disregard that giant beep that you just heard. The on-track delivery, I'm assuming, is here, so hopefully we can figure out what that is. Fingers crossed for some lunch. Eagle, after that really unfortunate tree kick, looking to throw himself down into a better position, throws his hands up because he is devolving a bit at this point. He missed a few tee shots there that have been just uncharacteristically squirrely. But we are now traveling up the fairway with these guys. Par 5, hole 16, really one of those holes that you really need to be attacking because there are strokes to be gained on guys here. Hopefully Garrett and Ricky, or excuse me, hopefully Garrett is in the the premier landing zone, and hopefully Ricky and James can really get outside of that, get out of that pinched look that they have. We can see Ricky here, his scramble rate at 100, same with James Conrad. That's really what's keeping them in at this point. Circle 1 in regulation, though, Ricky at the 64% marker. Combine that with the Circle 1 putting of 91%, that adds up to a lot of birdies.
Oh, yeah. And it seems like everyone missed one putt inside the circle.
Sure.
I think is how that math works out.
Mm-hmm. Ricky really forced to get creative with his lie here after that turned over drive. Odds are he's probably pitching out. Oh yeah, it looks to me like he has a harp in his hand, so really not going to get aggressive over this.
And again, he can still birdie.
Yeah, that should be noted. Like that is the mindset to have, is that just keep stacking birdies, because as I've mentioned earlier, 1-3 on the day. You are not losing strokes if you take a 4. Granted, Garrett is right in position to make that 2, but still got a whole round ahead of us. Ricky with the quality pitch up should be right where you need to be, right at that kind of lip of that water. Following along, hard to say exactly where James's was. Yeah, just about 40 or 50 feet in front of Rick's. Definitely has that tree wall in front of him, though at this point, that big hyzer kind of comes into play.
I'm excited to see what he's going to do here.
I think he's going to throw the hyzer.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Yep. I know James, and I know how much the man loves a hyzer. So my guess is he is going to be throwing a Thunderbird or a pretty stable destroyer, depending on if he wants to get it going straight for a little bit or just commit to that hyzer angle.
And while James takes no more than 30 seconds to line this shot up, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite parts about UDisc is to see, what songs of the week are rising up the charts, right?
Okay, sure.
And our boys from yesterday, Kevin and Seppo, moving up 17 and 24 spots respectively.
Wow, as James lines up probably the smarter play, the Gator upshot.
He didn't go for okay.
But it's interesting to see that now that they're off camera,
I wonder if that was part of it, yeah. I mean, they both shot 7 down and 6 down, and they moved into
actually
12th.
Actually not that far off of what they shot yesterday, but considering the course is playing so much harder, you have to assume it's going to be 20, 25 points higher rated.
Yeah, we're going to see the SSA swing big time.
Significantly. As we make our approach up to Garrett's drive, or excuse me, actually Ricky's approach shot. So we still have yet to see Garrett's drive, which has to be testament to how perfect it is.
So we're going to see the very often harp.
Oh, yes.
On a par 5.
Yeah. Yes, the classic play. Because when I step up to a par 5, I'm thinking throw as many putters as possible.
Yeah. Funny thing is, he could probably birdie this hole with a harp 4 times.
Yes, definitely. Just harp up to the middle, harp to the landing zone, harp over, in. Of course, a harp putt. Oh no, excuse me. We are at Garrett's drive, so he has actually gone a little bit long of this window, forcing in this big hyzer.
Big arm problems.
He is going to be contesting that tree right next to the pin. Interesting to see if he can go around it or get knocked down back into the OB. Clearly going. Oh, sorry.
Wonderful.
Great. That's great.
Inside the circle, 25 feet.
That is exactly what you want, especially with Ricky stumbling a bit on this hole. He is right now looking like he's going to pick up a stroke. If he can convert this 3, that is big time to make up for those 2 bogeys earlier. Garrett really coming into form right here. He has birdied the last 4 in a row, looking to eagle here. If he could finish out 8 down through his last 7 holes, that would be an exclamation point.
Yeah, especially considering he was 1 over through 6.
Yeah. James here, kind of really close to that front edge, is going to have a pretty simple approach over this, though. Obviously opting for that JK AVR as he is one to do. My guess is he will be inside 15 here. Maybe
Pretty
just
good.
outside,
Pin
but
high,
right there.
20.
Yeah.
I'm expecting him to make that.
I would agree. Looking at him to cash in that 4. Ricky looking to keep pace with James.
Oh, he's not throwing the harp. He's throwing something faster.
Well, remember, it is 340 or so, 300 of water carry, so he's probably opting for the felon here, just for the consistent stability. But
oh, he came up.
Is that short? There, I believe that might be OB. I believe the OB line is the top of that ridge. Hard to say, but everyone is putting on their bags.
Walking, though.
So I think we should be okay. We are going to cut it straight to a word from our sponsors before these guys get to this green, though. Catching up with the gang on the other side of the water, we still have not heard confirmation about Ricky's shot, but assuming that they are all on this side of the water, my guess is he's playing it from this side, whether it's in or out.
Yeah, it looks like even if he did finish OB, that he caught the bushes that are on the inbound side, which means he would not have to throw the same shot again.
This is true. And obviously with Garrett being so close to the pin, that's the last thing Ricky wants, is have to throw over that water again, taking that penalty stroke. So fingers crossed that he is in bounds and that it is still going to be close at the top, because Garrett is absolutely making a charge. He's one back of Ricky, so good chance that he ties it up, if not takes the lead right here.
He might take the outright lead right now.
2-stroke swing would do that.
And this, I think this might be Ricky's first bogey.
Of the event. I believe you're right. I believe you're right. Which is just so impressive considering how much trouble there is to be had out here. Looks like Eagle is kind of hustling back to a drop zone. Hard to tell if... Did he not clear the water? There he is, back. He's running back. Golly, it looks like, yeah, it seems to me like he must have rolled back into the water. Unbeknownst to him, he had to run all the way back. Now he's going to have this pressure shot after not expecting that one single bit.
No, I think we've all been there before. The walk of shame.
Oh, yes. Come on, under the basket. Solid shot. Solid shot.
Pretty good. He's about the same where Garrett is.
Yep, just inside.
It's tough to park that shot.
The slope of the green, it is really tough to commit to putting it in the basket.
And it's easy to throw long.
Yeah,
because you want to clear it. So I'm interested. We still don't know what happened with Rick's third shot.
Yeah, Ricky, I don't even know if Ricky knows, but I am getting some details that it is safe. So whether he'll be putting from down on that ridge, or if it will be putting from on top, hard to say at this point. We're gonna have to wait and see what our cameras can pick up. Eagle just now bigging it back to the green. Wow, this tournament is getting tight, though. I'll tell you that right now. We have our outright leader at the top, but then within one stroke, we have two players, Garrett and Dave, within one stroke, Feldberg that is, and an absolute logjam at 18. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys tied at 18. 17 down, Chris Dickerson, and then that is where it starts to drop. But really, we have 8, 9 guys, all within 3 strokes of the lead.
Let's see if Garrett can convert.
This would be huge, especially really to just establish momentum going into these last 2 just absolutely nasty holes. Oh, that was soft out of his hand. That was
I'm surprised. He'd been making a lot of putts recently, and it looked like he just didn't commit enough to it.
That was fluffed out of his hand. You kind of knew it wasn't going in, I feel like. It was flatter than all of his putts. Eagle looking to just save face at this point. Oh, no. This hole has been an absolute decider in years past at this event. Simon trying to run down Ricky in the last round of last year's Jonesboro Open did a similar thing where he kind of melted down on this green.
And Ricky putting for birdie here.
Ricky's putting for birdie, which now Garrett is also putting for birdie, to be fair, but Eagle is going to have to settle with a bogey.
We were thinking Ricky might have been out. Garrett was going to get a 3.
Yeah.
Ricky converts birdie.
Great cleanup, and that is
ties Garrett, and there's no movement.
Yes, exactly. Still maintains his lead. This is parity in disc golf. James looking to clean up. Should get his 4 here. Taking all the time he needs.
I think it's been about 20 minutes since he threw his last shot.
Yeah, seriously. Between Eagle walking all the way back, walking there, throwing another shot, Garrett putting. It's been a journey, but that's a par 5. That's 800 and change feet. So, wow, really, I think, did we have like a small, oh no, we didn't. We didn't get a 3 to get that small straight, but we are going to have a 4, a couple 4s, and that 7 double bogey by Eagle. So unfortunate. Really puts a damper on his run to the top. We'll catch up on 17. Coming into hole 17, we have 2 of the 4 hardest holes on the course up next, so it is a premium on scoring here if you want to have a chance at that lead going into round 3. Ricky with that 1-stroke lead over Garrett, which it has a 1-stroke lead over Feldberg. There is a legitimate chance that we could have Feldberg on our lead card, which would be real exciting.
Oh, I'd be so excited. I haven't seen him on camera in a minute.
Yeah, since last year. I filmed him at US Masters. That's about it.
The song we've been singing all weekend is about how distance is so crucial. And Feldberg, I believe, is 41 years old.
Yep, Masters age, but I'll tell you what, he still rips at the best of them, man.
Oh, I mean, arguably the greatest right-hand backhand form ever.
Yeah, I mean,
just the pendulum.
It is unique, but it is so efficient.
Yeah.
Yes.
He just gets the hips into it.
Garrett turning his drive over a little bit, but didn't look like he made too big of a boo-boo on that right side. Should have an approach to the basket. Conrad pulling out, my guess is a Destroyer, maybe a Thunderbird, though, because it's not like you need a ton of distance, really. You just want to put yourself in position to be able to attack it. You want that left to right action to get over the hill, and then, if you could, have it fade left to right back into the green. Again, with those committed turnovers, looks to me, it's like an incidental roller will find himself in the fairway, but a lot of these guys, just like round 1, are pretty pinched and are going to have some creative lines to get down to the basket.
Yeah, hole 17, playing 3rd hardest at 0.6 strokes over par.
Goodness
gracious. At that point, you're in par 5 territory.
Absolutely, and that's actually surprising to see because at 660 feet, you'd think they'd just be able to throw these layup shots up to the top. Eagle looking like he is getting pretty good distance out here. Looking for that left finish, though. They are all going to be kind of tightly tucked into those woods.
Hole number 17, 530 feet, a par 4. Yesterday we saw Some challenge the OB left line, and if you get hung up right and early, you can also get in trouble. Pierce is doing just that. She lays it up to the middle of the fairway. She wants to get up and down. She's got a standstill putter with not enough stability. That carries. She gets the kick. She'll have a look, but meanwhile, Sarah Hokom grabs a little metal on the birdie putt. It sits down for her. She'll take the par. Paige Pierce thought she was laying up, got it a little too close, but she's punished with the bogey. The rest of the card takes pars, just one hole to play. Pierce with a 6-stroke lead.
As these guys approach their lives, we have a chance to kind of look at the scoreboard and look at who's making a run. Eric Oakley has filled the scoreboard with birdies going into that back nine. Really impressive stuff. Has made an extreme rise from that mid-990s rating that he had at the beginning of last year to a legitimate powerhouse on tour. He is up near the lead card every single event.
And that's just hard work.
Absolutely. It's putting in the work, it's putting in the time, and it's committing to the lifestyle.
Yeah, I would say Eric and AJ are the two guys that were 990 plus for 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely, and really have made that leap up into the 1,000 plus
10
club.
plus,
yes. Here we are back on site. James Conrad, 19 down, sole possession of third place. Has a really tough angle into this basket. Hard to know, or hard to say if he's going to play it the traditional turn over and try and stick it, or if he might get creative and throw this crazy hyzer, really trying to get over everything. This could be bad, it could be good. We don't know.
Way to commit, Corey, though.
Yes. Yes.
It might be bad or good.
Yes, those are the two options I'm giving this. No neutral. Nothing neutral. As we see our guys coming up. This big tree seems to be the distance marker that you want to finish left of. If you finish right of that tree, you are in trouble and way too pinched to access this green. If you are able to finish left of this tree, you are in position to score. Really, wow, they are back in there. Really, kudos to our film crew out there on site who are really trying to find their discs as much as these guys, because with this much turnover on their shots, they have to come up with some very creative lines to get to the basket.
How are they so close to the basket now, and only one person has thrown an upshot?
That's the circle for hole 13.
Okay, sorry.
So we've ventured off of fairways once known into other. Yes, we're getting chaotic here on 17.
Okay, and only fewer than 10 birdies on this hole today.
I'm not surprised. You saw our lead card really have trouble off the tee. It is difficult to play that stable disc, slam it over, and know that you're not going to fade out left, which is that OB barbed wire fence. Garrett really here weighing his options, looking like he is going to have to go sidearm. Not where you want to be after making a run like he has been lately. He's going to maybe almost like into a roller, or is he going to try and go over? And he is. Oh, it's like a big flex sidearm. Hard to say if it's going to work. Oh, he is back in the woods.
Yeah, he plinkoed down into the woods.
Oh, man, so he's still going to have work to do to get his par,
And yeah, his birdie train looks like it certainly has ended after 5 in a row.
Well, if it has to end somewhere, after 5 is okay.
Sure. And on this hole.
This is true. One of the harder holes
where
out here.
Less than 10 people have converted 3.
Eagle after the unfortunate double bogey on the par 5 16. Got another interesting lie here. Might go thumber, might go grenade. But he is on the right side of that tree line, so there is so much foliage for him to cut through if he wants to go straight through the gap. Or the lack thereof.
He's throwing like a forehand tomahawk.
Yeah, really hard to say. My guess is it's something flippy that's really going to ride out. Or maybe turn into a sidearm roller. And I don't even think Eagle knows where that went, because that was an absolute desperation shot. We'll see where his lie is next, but
I mean, black hole shot?
Yes.
I mean, where did it go?
This is obviously we're seeing why this hole is one of the hardest holes out here, but you did not expect to see the lead card stumble this much on a hole that they had a birdie and a couple of birdie looks on yesterday.
Absolutely.
I know the weather is worse, but it didn't look like a very stiff headwind off the tee, you know? Golly, we're going to have to cut in new fairways on this thing. Again, apologize to our viewers for this loss of bearings. It's hard to tell where we are on this fairway, but this is the right side of the trees that you're trying to be on the left side of. So we're really having to blaze new trails. Beautiful. Somebody is approaching the basket. Hard to say who it is because they are all so far off the fairway. I can't emphasize that enough, guys and gals. As you see Terry chunking his way through the Blair Witch Project. We have, looks like, is that Garrett approaching his disc, or is that just a group of lost hikers? I can't tell anymore.
Has Ricky thrown his second shot yet?
I believe he was earlier, but at this point, I've lost all track of time and space.
Yeah.
This is the craziest I've ever seen this whole play. Like, usually people throw it in the center of the fairway and then down the tunnel into that green that kind of slopes to the right, but all descriptions of the hole have gone out the window. We've moved to North Carolina for this shot. It needs that touch sidearm. Really just got to make the gap, let the disc do the work after that, I think.
I mean, hole at 17 inflicting tons of damage on the lead card right now.
And this is what everyone down on that list was looking to see. I mean, not that you're rooting for people to play badly, but if you're trying to chase someone down, this is best possible scenario, is these guys just chunking it up into trees. Eagle is going to have a tough one coming out of that. I think he made it back to the fairway, but he does not have an easy putt for par.
I mean, how did Colton Montgomery birdie the last 4 holes in a row?
Animal style, man. He ordered his last 4 holes animal style. Garrett Gurthie still scrambling.
I think this is the 4th consecutive shot where someone's scrambling. They're throwing some atypical kind of shot.
Yes. I don't even know.
Or stance.
Well, it looks to me that at least James Conrad has made his way into a far enough up the fairway, or up the woods maybe, that he might have a look at the basket, but gosh, from here where Garrett is, a par at best. Looks like he has done the
Well
job,
done.
though.
Yeah, he poked it out. He's right there.
Okay, thank goodness. We're back on the
And
green
that's for,
fairway.
I think he's putting for par.
Yes.
From well inside the circle.
Yes. Now Ricky is down here on the fairway looking to capitalize on all this chaos that's happening.
I have anxiety right now.
Yeah, I know. I know. For these guys.
No, like for me, after watching this.
Why? Because you just don't even know what you've been talking about this whole time? Yes. Rick's looking to put it down and does. Fist pump up. That was with authority, putting him at 22 down, by far in sole possession of first place. And Garrett still needs to hit a putt to keep pace at 2 back at this point.
That was significant.
That was a huge 3 compared to the card and how they're playing this. James off to that left side is going to have some shrubbery to deal with. It's going to be pretty amazing conversion if he can hit this. Wouldn't be surprised at just a pure layup here. It's pretty nasty back side of the pin.
Yeah, he's got a few degrees downhill. And he kind of just needs to get a par here.
Yeah, just move on. Keep yourself within striking distance. Don't do anything.
He's on the lead
too
card
nuts.
right now for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously he's on the lead card now, but... All right, good pitch up. Soft little sidearm out of the trees. Eagle has had the putter working lately, but 16 and 17 has faltered. We'll see if he can get it back on track with a quality putt here. Taking his time, as he should. Jomez in the background, ready for the slow miz. Quality.
Perfect putt.
Quality. That is a professional putt. That
Yep.
is
After taking a double bogey.
and then scramble,
Struggling.
scramble for his par. Really impressive stuff just to get it back on track. Garrett here ready to tap in the par. And they are going to cede a stroke as a card to Ricky. And Ricky is just putting his foot down on the gas. That is 3 birdies in a row on the last 3 holes. If he birdies 18, which we will show shortly, there's no stopping him.
Are you currently looking for the one? How do you get hooked up usually?
Through friends.
Players' parties.
Sometimes even fans.
And how's that been working for you?
Not so good.
Have you ever tried looking online?
Never.
You should check this site out.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Find your go-to disc at blankinkdiscs.com today. 2018 Tour Support discs available now.
Gotta get one.
I need one.
Ricky Wysocki lining up the sidearm. We saw him play out of this gap earlier, but is going to wait just a bit while these guys finish out 18. This is significant as far as lead card seeding for tomorrow, as Feldberg did take a bogey on 17, looking to birdie or par to stay on lead card today, though.
Yeah, this is significant. The chase card and the lead card, depending on how they score out on this last hole, will determine who gets to start tomorrow and know what fate they're playing for.
Ricky throwing that Biofusion Defender straight out there through our graphics. Way to hit that gap.
That looks perfect.
That's prime time position. Yep. He looks like he had gotten around that nightmare bush that you don't want to throw into, and he is looking at that backhand hyzer up to the basket for a birdie. If he can put it in for 3 again, he's doing work. Garrett, big arm. Have to imagine... I would imagine he would throw the hyzer, but he has been throwing those straight shots a lot, and it looks like that's what he's lining up for.
That is crushed.
Oh, that's crushed, but that is 2 turned over. Oh. No? Well, he is definitely not going to have the angle up to the basket that you want, but he could get creative, as there is a lot of room over there on the right side.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if he's in that jail or not.
James looking to really just rip one up the gut here. Surprising not to see him play the wide hyzer, as that does play his game pretty well. But maybe he's just looking to put on a show and just really get his confidence going by hitting a gap. That is his specialty, by the way.
And all he needs right now is par to stay on the lead card.
And we would definitely appreciate that from James, as it is always a pleasure to watch him play, especially in these lead card moments. Oh, and absolutely piping it. My guess is that is his T-bird, that he's just ripping up the gap. He plays that so well. Looks like he did Annie a little bit over to the right side, though. He is not satisfied. Ugh. Eagle. There we go. Eagle lining up the hyzer, which is no surprise. It is there. Either you're going to play this big hyzer or that straight tunnel shot we saw all the other competitors play. Looks a little bit low release, but he does have the power to make things happen. And that is going to be right side as well. We are all struggling, and as we see the FPO play this hole, hopefully we can get it back on track.
Hole 18, 818 feet with danger on both sides and uprights to beat off the tee. Hokom gets through the uprights but finishes left. Pierce is going to hit the upright and get the best kick of the round. Keeps her moving forward. Hokom's forehand from the base of the hill, almost to the 250-foot marker. She's got at least 275 to play uphill. Paige pinched on the right side. Not much room to breathe. Hokom's forehand does what she can, but she didn't have a good angle from that lie. Pierce asking for it to get there. You see the winds blowing in the background. It's been a long, cold, wet round. Everybody's thinking hot chocolate. Great approach shot by Catrina Allen, who's going to finish with a par. She takes 2 pars to finish the round. And Hokom's off front of the basket, cards the bogey. She's going to be in 3rd place, moving into the final round as Walker hits from one knee. And Paige finishes the round with a par. She's sitting on a 6-stroke advantage going into Championship Sunday. We'll see you then.
And that wraps it up for our FPO coverage. Paige still bringing her lead into that final round. Unfortunately has dropped to 6 strokes as she was leading by 7 before the round started. Kat really taking advantage of the course today and playing lights out and putting herself into 2nd place as we catch up to James Conrad, who has found himself in the bushes, not where you want to be.
No, he's taken the birdie potential away and just needs to get par here to stay on the lead card.
Yes,
he actually needs it.
He is in line. Yes, this is true. If he drops
he needs par.
Any more strokes, he will drop into that tie. And
Colton Montgomery and David Feldberg with better rounds.
This is true. Better finishing rounds. So if he is to take bogey or worse, he will drop onto that chase card, and Dave Feldberg will move on to the lead card. As of right now, Colton Montgomery in that tie for 4th does have the hottest round. So as it stands right now, we will see Ricky, Garrett, James, and Colton. Again, that is pending a par or better from James, and Garrett seems to have locked his spot in unless something just horrible devolves here on hole 18. But some players of note, Chris Dickerson is out here playing, and I know he was on the lead card last year, but we don't see him a lot out on tour. He finished today with a 7 down. Should be pretty highly rated considering scores all around were lower today. Eagle sitting in a tie for 7th place, looking to add, or I guess take off a stroke from his score. My guess is that is his C-line PD, which he loves oh so much.
He's certainly, he's attacking the screen.
Oh yes, he has to. He's in pretty good position. Does clip that tree out of his hand though. And bounced on the wall, but does find himself in bounds.
And Ricky here, prime real estate. Pretty much couldn't have a better spot.
Yeah, this is really where you want to be. It did look like he turned it over a little bit out of his hand, but that might be the play just to get to the right side of this tree. I kind of was expecting these guys to be playing the left side and drawing it over with the hillside, but it looks like they're going to be playing this low skipper up to the basket.
And sometimes when you're a hybrid player and you have both, the forehand seems to be the easier way to hit a gap. Because you're looking at the gap. You're not dipping your head down and losing sight of it.
Absolutely. You can maintain eye contact with your target at all times, which is extremely important. You talk about baseball or any of these high-level sports, you want your head to move as little as possible when you're tracking something. Looks to be Garrett's shot from a pretty nasty lie. He is going to have to bend down and do another little patent pending, which we've seen a lot today. After being in position all round yesterday, he cannot find himself on a fairway. Granted, he had that 5 or 6 hole streak, or 5 hole streak snapped last hole, looking to just par out and maintain so that he can try and run down Ricky in the final round tomorrow.
Yeah, this is another instance where too much distance can hurt you.
One name that we haven't mentioned today, Sean, Paul McBeth.
There's a reason.
He is fallen precipitously.
He moved way down. He's the opposite of like rising up the charts. He only shot, I believe, 2 down today.
Oh, no.
And moved down 7 spots.
He is in a tie with Peter McBride at 17th place. Not what you're looking for. Garrett Gurthie here really needs to lean over and rip it down there.
Oh, he caught a branch. Dropped straight down.
Oof, not what he was looking for. He is going to have to take par at best, and that's a good score from here.
He should be fine now.
Fine. Oh yeah, fine as far as lead card, but definitely looking like he might drop a stroke to Rick here. A stroke at least.
Yeah, Ricky putting on a show for the back 9. He's already 6 down and moving to be 7. Pardon me, 5 down.
On the back 9? Wow. He's bogey free. James here looking to get up and down.
Yeah, hole 16 was the one moment of drama what we had where we thought he might actually get a bogey or worse.
Oh, no.
Stayed in bounds.
Yes,
and then
jammed
cashed
the putt.
an awesome putt.
Golly.
And then on 17, make an even bigger putt.
James, good approach, good flight on the disc, and that is a casual way to drop in your 4. Whew. Stress over for James.
Lead card secured.
He has secured it, well, pending some sort of just nightmarish scenario. Once that disc does enter the basket, he will be on lead card.
Oh, come on.
But we still have Garrett, who needs to approach this not where he wants to be, and not the stress level that you want coming into the last hole of the second round. My guess is he's going to opt for the putter or touchy mid-range.
Didn't take too much time on that shot, which means it's probably pretty routine.
Yep. And routinely puts it next to the basket. He will end on a par as well. Only drop potentially 1 stroke to Ricky, as Ricky does have close to a circle's edge putt for his 3.
And if Ricky converts 3, he would only be the 5th of the day.
Wow, so 4 threes so far, 4 of them being, or a few of them being Colton, who used that to leapfrog his way all the way back up. Kevin Jones and Seppo, who we had yesterday, and Macbeth, who was able to end on a positive note by 3ing this. Unfortunately, kind of lost in that middle of the pack. Tied down there at 17th. Eagle here, looking to keep ground. Can't really afford to drop any more strokes at this point after that double bogey on 16. Oh, and a valiant effort, almost putting it in from so far away. Next up, Ricky. Really the only opportunity to play this hole as it was intended. The great tee shot, put himself into prime time landing zone.
Sure.
And the nice and easy backhand up, leaving himself with about a 32-footer here for bird. And sole possession with a 3-stroke lead. Oh, and he airballs it.
Yeah, it looked like there was there's a headwind that lifted that up.
Yeah, well, he definitely didn't airball enough to put himself into another tester. This is a pretty routine distance for Ricky.
Should be fine.
Should be fine. Definitely the rest of the competitors not unhappy to see that miss, as they are all trying to run him down next round.
And he's still out.
Still out. Never a good feeling.
He's,
he's got to hit a putt
17.
still. Yeah. He's 1.5 Rickies away. Good cleanup. Way to finish the round. Obviously not the birdie he was looking for, sitting there on the green, but he will take a 10-down bogey-free, following the 12 down he shot yesterday, finishing him at 22 down.
And I'm going to guess that the 10 down is about the same rating as the 12 down was yesterday.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about there. Probably in that 1050 to 1060 range as Conrad cleans up. Eagle cleaning up for a 16 down finish. You can see our scoreboard there. Props to the Pro Tour for bringing that out to every single stop. It's an absolutely great addition. And really adds that level of professionalism when you see that final hole.
Absolutely.
Big scoreboard up there. It's a beautiful sight to see.
It's very cool.
Guys, you have been with us for 18 holes today, not only on the MPO side, but the FPO side as well. We have seen a lot of action. Garrett, with those early bogeys, able to fight his way back and clean it up to a nice 6-down round. Granted, not what he was looking for after the 14 yesterday.
Yeah, after being 1 over early.
But relative to the field, he didn't lose too much ground.
No, No, he's still within 2 strokes of first place.
And he went out and shot 2 strokes better the first round. So it's been done. He's already done it once before.
Sure, absolutely.
James Conrad kind of treading water early, but able to string together a few birdies late. He was able to get 5 of the last 8 holes, and put himself in position to make lead card again. Colton Montgomery, though, the biggest storyline so far in the second round, who was able to fight his way up into 4th place and make an appearance on lead card coverage. Very excited to see a newcomer.
Yeah. I mean, sub-1,000 rated golfer.
Absolutely, playing out of his mind.
Yeah, it's exciting. I remember LT World this week was talking about who's the best sub-1,000 rated golfer on tour right now.
That's a good conversation.
And Colton Montgomery, I think, raised his hand.
That's beautiful. And kind of that same Joel Freeman storyline that we saw at Vegas, where a relative unknown comes up and really puts it to these guys. If he can come back and shoot another hot round, he shot 10 today, matched Ricky's for the hot round of the day.
8 yesterday.
If he can come back and shoot that again, we're going to really see some fireworks, I think, out here by the relative unknown Colton and the established force Ricky.
And I want to talk a little bit about the women's round.
Please do, thank you.
So if you're into like disc golf math and all that, if you like the ratings, so the women's round today played 55 points harder than yesterday.
So 5, that's like 5, that's 6 strokes almost.
So a 68 yesterday was 922 rated, and a 68 today was 977 rated.
Wow.
So,
okay.
and if Paige would have shot 12 down yesterday, she would have shot 1080 rated today.
Oh my gosh. It is just a testament to those flurry
Oh my God.
conditions. Not blizzard, but a flurry of snow.
Yeah, Buffalo, New York this morning with the weather.
Yes, that is a testament to how much harder that course did play. We had snow, we had wind, we had all the grossness that you do not want to see when you're out playing a disc golf tournament. Paige, though, continuing that lead, establishing herself with a 6-stroke advantage going into the last round. Catrina was able to make up some ground. One note, though, unfortunately, we saw Kona play so well during round 1, so clean. Especially off the tee. She did drop back, unfortunately put up a 18 over.
Yeah, she played bogey golf today, unfortunately.
Not what she was looking for. After
and you have to think, is it because she's from Southern California?
And the snow got to her.
And she just never,
she's actually not
plays.
from Southern California.
Oh.
That's the thing. She is actually from Colorado.
Oh,
and moved to Southern California. So
okay.
Actually, you'd think
you're saying when she was in Colorado is when she was like 230 rated.
That
and then California, a 500 point increase.
Exactly. So she moved here really to work on her disc golf game and improve that rating of 244, and it's really proving dividends. Besides that, we saw Sarah Hokom put on a putting display out there, and really impressive stuff. I've now dubbed her Sarah Snowcomb. Does not matter what the conditions are.
I'll buy the t-shirt.
Sarah, get on that branding opportunity right now, please. We have a great lead card for you tomorrow. Really excited to be able to follow that action from Anza Studios here in sunny San Francisco. Being a part of disc golf history, we have Terry Miller standing by shortly with an interview with our current leader, Ricky. We are going to kind of chat a little bit about his round, bogey-free.
Just smooth. And, he didn't really string a million birdies together ever. Yeah. He just was like, 2 in a row here, 3 in a row there. And then obviously having no bogeys never hurts.
Absolutely. Played absolutely clean and was able to make up for the mistakes that he did have with beautiful recovery shots. He hit a few great putts, as well as cleaning up any sort of funkiness. One thing that we would like to note is that Dave Feldberg, the Masters age player that was almost on our lead card coverage, is actually... Excuse me, we are cutting to Terry now.
Welcome back to the course. We're here at the Disc Side of Heaven, and I'm joined by our leader right now and champion from last year. He's trying to defend that title, Ricky Wysocki. Ricky, come on, where was that birdie on the last hole? I wanted to see you move to 23 under.
I know, I wanted it. I wasn't short.
You weren't short. Well, we saw a great round out here today. The weather has to be the story. Last year we were in shorts and sweating, worried about ticks and snakes, and this year we're all bundled up with extra layers. How did you adjust?
Yeah, I just kind of added, like you said, added layers. I got a hand warmer. Just did some extra stretching and a lot of warm up this morning to get my body warmed up for the round. So I just made sure I stayed warm throughout the round and mentally and physically.
Well, I got to say, right around that 2:30, 3 o'clock time frame, the sun came out for the first time, and it warmed up at least 15 degrees from this morning. Did you see any of that mess they had this morning?
Yeah, I saw the videos. I was sitting in bed. I was like, oh, thank gosh I'm not out there right now. But yeah, that was miserable. Slippery tee pads, and it was sticking.
Yeah.
I didn't think the snow was actually going to stick when I saw the forecast.
It was a little crazy. Well, for the first weekend ever, we've got commentators back in the booth, Corey and Sean. I hope you guys are enjoying San Francisco. And Johnny and Gio back in a basement, so we're out here roughing it out. What's the game plan as we pull things through tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be sticking to my game plan, staying consistent. I haven't had any bogeys, so knock on wood or metal, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I think that, I'm playing really consistent. I'm playing conservative when I need to and aggressive when I need to. So, I feel like, I've got the good game plan from last year, and this year I know what it takes, and I know how consistent you have to be out here. It's a bomber course, but it's a lot about placement and placing yourself in scoring positions.
At any point, did you feel like you were under a little stress or pressure today as you're out there playing?
Yeah, I mean, Garrett, the whole group really played decent. I think, a few of them fell off at the end, but I mean, as a whole, we all pushed each other pretty well. And so I think that raised the bar for all of us. And with this cold conditions, I think that, helped us, gauge. It's a lot easier to gauge your play when everyone's playing well versus everyone playing at a low level. So it's good that, everyone was playing pretty well for the most part.
And speaking of pushing or motivation, now that fantasy disc golf has become so big, do you feel like you have to keep things up for the fans out there? I mean, who do you want to win for more, yourself or all the fantasy players?
Right. I know. I haven't gotten a league this year, but I need to.
Okay. All right, Ricky. Any parting shots before we see you tomorrow afternoon?
Just think Latitude 64, StockingBomb.com. Check it out. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's Ricky Wysocki, your champion from last year. Today he sits at 22 under. Overall, he'll be heading into Sunday. We'll check out that lead card, and we'll see you then. Again, we'll see you at 3 p.m. Central tomorrow for our last and final round right here at the Jonesboro Open, presented by Prodiscus.
No. I think that it's a little bit easier to break down the hole